Yamato, getting hit with rocks. Par, how do you feel about this? Are you happy that Yamato's finally getting what she's due as Kaido's daughter or son? Or are you sad for Yamato because Yamato doesn't deserve this hate?
It was funny because I saw people like I saw like a comment thing on like Twitter, and like it's one of those things where it's like they're farming interactions, but like this person felt like they were actually like on it, and they're like, they were basically saying, I don't see why people can't understand that Yamato deserves all the hate for being Kaido's son. And I was like, huh?
Wait, what? Huh?
That was the comment. That was and then people were like, yeah, I don't understand how people don't understand that like she deserves all of this hate and more. And then they were like quoting the Orochi like the Hiyori, like Orochi deserves to burn thing. I was like, huh? These like, and it's one thing for the farming to happen, but then the replies are like also, because usually it's like you don't understand One Piece, blah blah. I was like, wait, is this? Is
this real? Is this
yeah,
real time bot farming? What's going on here?
Yeah. It was my mind was blown because when I read this, my thought was like, yeah, sure, whatever. She gets hit by rocks. It's crazy that she's actually getting like in pain from it. Like, I guess
those are hockeyed rocks, Par. What if it's sea stone? We come to find out it's just sea stone they're throwing at Yamato.
Yo, just casually, these kids got sea stone, and that's the other part, right? Where I was looking at this, I was like, where are these kids? And why are they in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, they were chasing Yamato out of the village. Like, look at that monster.
Like, it's not, because this is like Udon. Well, it says Kibi, but like, it's like, this is like the desert place where like everyone went to die in the background.
Yeah, it's like the outskirts of Kibi.
Yeah, but like because like we've seen this place like a few times where it's like super barren. Like Big Mom was like took all of them on like that crocodile, and they were like 2 days or something running across Wano, and like this is like there's no one here. It still looks like a desert. Like that means these kids were like planning out this ambush, like the cartel, dude. These guys like, oh, Yamato's gonna end up over here. We're gonna line up these rocks, guys. Make sure they're sea stone. Like these kids were planning out.
Dude, I'm looking at the map of Wano right now. Kibi is just the first location. We still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 more, and technically we're not even at Kibi. Well, then again, wait, no. So Kibi doesn't have an actual town. Okay, that's wrong to say. Okobore town is right next to Kibi, or like in the Kibi region. It's bordering on Curry.
Gotcha. Wait, Udon is in Kibi?
No.
Like Udon prison?
No. Udon and Kibi are two different regions. Yeah. Kibi is up north of the flower capital. Udon is down south. But I think since they're right like north and south, I think they just share that desert climate.
Yeah. Wait, what's the one all the way to the left?
All the way to the left is Bakura Town and Mount Atayama.
No, like what's the region called?
Oh, Curry.
Curry. Okay.
Yeah. So Kibi, Curry, Udon, Hakumai, Ringo, and then back to the flower capital.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So she's going.
Yeah, we're gonna see everything with this journey, man. Let me tell you, if we're seeing kids throw rocks at Yamato before we even hit Okobore, yo, it's gonna be a minute till something happens.
Yeah. The other thing is like Yamato doesn't even look like Kaido. Like he's just like, what are they going off of? Just the horns? But other people have horns, right?
Okay, the horns, sure, but Yamato's 12 feet tall, Par.
But the other part is they don't even know. Like Yamato was chained up on Onigashima the entire time. Oh, that was the other part of the comment. The other part of the comment was saying that Yamato was a part of the reason why Wano was like in pain, and they're like why didn't Yamato do anything to save Wano?
Yeah, why didn't Yamato run the gauntlet against all the beast pirates and save Wano? Yeah, good one.
And then
good joke.
People were saying like, yo, she was in. Did you not read? She was in prison on Onigashima the entire time. She's like, they're like, no, she was.
No,
like,
I can't read.
To Ace.
I can't read.
She was talking to Ace, and then they were like, she was in chains talking to Ace on Onigashima. That was the whole point. And other people were like, yeah, she should have saved one. I was like,
yeah, I think people who say that Yamato should have saved Wano, they didn't really read Wano.
Yeah.
But also, like, another thing with Yamato is that we learned that Yamato fought Kaido many times in the past, but Yamato just couldn't beat him. And that's why Yamato's so strong, because she fought her dad like every other day. Like, I mean, Yamato did the best that she could. As far as these kids throwing rocks, though, like, it's gonna happen, right? Like, they don't know Yamato, they don't know the story, they don't know the nuance of, like, oh, Yamato's in chains, Yamato tried, but they couldn't. You know, this is just the same thing with the Kurozumi, like you said, like, oh, like, one bad ancestor, boom, you hit all the other ancestors. That's all it is. The Wano mindset.
The awkward thing, for, like, obviously this isn't a meaningful thing, but it's more like, it's not like Kaido's son or daughter or whatever was, like, advertised to Wano, and it's not like Wano has seen Yamato ever before. So it's not like, you know, like, as far as these kids, they don't know. One, I don't even know if they should know that Kaido has relatives, because, like, the world didn't even know that. Like, they
maybe
literally
it's just like their families, right? Like, their parents were like, oh, like, Yamato as a kid? What are you talking about? You know, like, and then the kid, and then like, the parents tell the kids, and then it's just like perpetuate. Like, the kids think that they're automatically bad.
Yeah, I get, because like it's
just it's like Chinese whispers.
The only people that knew was like the Toby Roppo, and then like the Beast Pirates knew, but I don't know if they like knew because like didn't Yamato also like wear a mask for a long time too? So it's like
the Beast Pirates knew. They just I don't know if they've seen Yamato's face, but then again, like, Yamato wearing a mask was never really explained. It's not like Yamato wore it 24/7. Like it's probably just like a Halloween cosplay for Onigashima.
Yeah.
Just Yamato, like the festival mask.
Now that I think about it, like, Yamato's circumstances is kind of really interesting, because also like the Beast Pirates in general, it's not like all of them were like on Onigashima like with Kaido. Like, most of them weren't even on there. They were on Wano or doing things outside of Wano. Yeah. And it was only like the higher up people that were with Kaido. So like and so it's like, that's why I was saying, like, this isn't meaningful in the sense of like, I don't care for Oda to expand on it, but like, realistically, like, these kids probably shouldn't know who Yamato, like, but the people of Wano shouldn't know that she's a symbol of oppression, because the only time apparently that she's been out was when Oden was executed, and ever since then she's been locked up like permanently, and most people don't know who she is.
I mean, if I had to guess, I think the samurai like told everybody, you know. And plus, Yamato's just hanging around. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's gonna ask, like, "Hey, who's that giant ogre that's just hanging around the flower capital in Momonosuke?" And then rumors are gonna spread. It's like, oh, it's like Yamato. They helped during the raid. That's Kaido's daughter, whatever. And then the kids are gonna hear about it. Then they associated Yamato with Kaido, and it's like, boom, like, got to mess up Yamato.
So, that was my thought originally. I was like, okay, the samurai said it, right? But if that's the case, that's terrible, because Momo should have been like Momo should have been posted up at the thing. I am the Shogun, and this is kind of. But if you do any crimes, to where you're all executed, like some shit like that, a protective order for her. You know what I mean?
But would Yamato want that? Like, if people throw rocks, they're gonna throw rocks. Like, you know, what are you gonna say? Like, oh, let's execute the kids now. You know, like, and I bet Yamato doesn't care. Like, like, I doubt Yamato actually cares about this. Like, it's like Oden. People didn't like Oden when he was first introduced.
Also, the other part of it too is like, again, like, realistically, no one can kill Yamato on Wano. There's not a even if all of, like, I think if all of Wano banded together, besides like Momo's group, right? Like, they lose. Like,
you put all the samurai here, Yamato's winning. Come on, easy, easy.
Yeah, she would be like the end stage antagonist for like the MC. Like, if Wano was its own story that someone wrote, Yamato would be the demon lord of Wano.
I saw a poll the other day. It was who would win in a 1v1, Yamato or Green Bull? Green Bull ended up winning the poll, but Yamato was right behind him. It's like, dude, like, people consider Yamato very, very powerful. Like, Yamato would destroy all these kids.
Yeah, and like, especially now that we're seeing like Bonney tap into the Nika stuff, like, we do have to talk about like that awakening, like, and how close certain people are. And like, Yamato had the scarf, you know, like, in
the
her
white
hybrid
scarf
form. So it's like Yamato is like right there, and as soon as she breaks that threshold, it's that scary world.
Dude, just like Yu-Gi-Oh, I bet she has like a field power bonus. She has what, like Kaido called the garden deity of Wano, brother. That's like a 10% power bonus, you know. Home field advantage over here with that devil fruit, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, like Wano, she starts like terraforming Wano because it's like part of her deity spirit. Like,
yeah,
I
could see it, man.
Bonus is crazy. Yeah.
As far as these kids go, people have been, I mean, myself included, we kind of like spin this out. Like, hey, like, do you think they'll eventually come to find out that Yamato's a really good person? Like, Yamato's going to save them from a wild beast? Do you think Yamato will get annoyed and leave Wano? Like, or do you think she takes this in stride like Oden did? Like, how do you think the fallout of this is going to be? Like, volume 10, 11, or 12, or whatever?
Yeah, the kids are probably gonna become her friends. Also, like if the flip side of it is this is Yamato's training arc. Apparently, she's not even Pebble level. Like she's not children throwing rocks level yet.
Hey, rocks are painful, man.
Yeah, like this is like the key example that like observation Haki is not always turned on. Durability is not, like, she has to be focused for durability to tap in. She doesn't have dragon scales, like, because Kaido is, you know, the only defense that Kaido had came from the dragon scales, not from being an Oni. But I do wonder, because, like, you know, we're going to Elbaf, and, like, we're getting the giant stuff, and, like, it's all so interesting, but we yet to get, like, any inklings towards, like, the ancient giants and Oni stuff.
Yeah.
And this is, like, called the Oni child, like, Yamato, and I wonder if, like, Oda's going to give us some, like, interesting, like, tidbits towards Onis specifically. Wano would be a place that, like, I feel like probably knows stuff about it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sukiyaki just had info about the Oni.
Imagine we get volume 10. Sukiyaki explains the entire history of Oni, spanning all the way back to the Void Century. Classic Sukiyaki.
Like, you know what? I could understand Sukiyaki telling Momo, like, but like maybe he doesn't trust Yamato, just like these kids. Like, Sukiyaki's just goofy like that. But then Momo's like learning about Onis, and he's just like thinking about Yamato. It's like, huh, I guess this is important, and I'll tell her about it. And Sukiyaki's like, careful, she's Kaido's kid. I don't know if you can trust her. As the former shogun, I advise against it.
As the former shogun, good one, Sukiyaki.
Like realistically, Momo needs to look at Sukiyaki and Yamato and understand who the real problem to Wano is. In no world is Yamato below. Like, Sukiyaki's the real problem.
I like how every time we talk about Wano, it somehow always goes back to Sukiyaki.
Dude, that guy is like an enemy of the state. Like,
yeah, he's not great. Also, I just noticed, so last week, I was wondering where Yamato was hiding Yasui's blade, because we didn't really see it, but this time around, you actually see it attached to her hip, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So any minute now, she'll become a swordsman. No, I don't think she's going to use it. It's like really? Yasui's grave blade. Imagine Yamato whips it out, fights with it, and then it breaks. You know what I mean? Like, we can't risk that. We can't risk that, dude. No way.
I want to see her do two sword style. One with her kanabo, and then one with the blade, you know?
Oh, that's gross. No, that's kind of gross. It's like mix and matching, like, you know, it's like a surf and turf meal. A swordsman and a kanabo user? Come on.
No, it'd be
that's
like
nasty.
Using chopsticks, but one of the chopsticks is a fork.
Yeah, or like you're like, hey, like, you want some chopsticks? And then somebody hands you a spoon and a fork. Like, no chopsticks. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Wait, I feel like that'd be kind of...
Music starts playing in the background. What's up?
Isn't that a salad tongs? Like, isn't that what salad tongs are? Like,
maybe. I've never really had a salad.
Wait, what?
I think you're thinking about a spork. I've never really had a salad, believe it or not.
No, a spork is a spoon fork, but I'm saying, like, there are tongs that the one side is like a cup thingy, and the other side has, like, the fork thing, and so you just clamp it together. And so
I've never seen that in my life.
Wait, what?
Dude, I've never seen that.
Okay, hold on. Let me look up salad tongs.
Salad tongs?
Yeah.
So you're saying that Yamato is essentially the salad tong, the salad tonger of Wano.
Yeah, no, wait. Actually, look this up.
Okay,
It's
salad tongs. Okay.
Yeah, this straight up just salad tongs.
Salad. Oh, what the hell?
Well, you just. Yeah.
I've never seen that before. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But like I said,
tongs.
I never ordered like salads.
Yeah, I'm not a big salad.
Yeah,
person
I'm not a big like salad person. I'm not like a rabbit
person though. I like salad dressing.
Yeah,
Some of the
same. Salad dressing's pretty
good.
solid. You can use that on anything really, like steak or whatever,
Yeah.
chicken. Yeah. Now I'm getting hungry, dude. Now I'm gonna be like these people at Okabare Town, man. I'm about to be starving over here. You know.
Oh no.
So funny you mentioned udon earlier because I am kind of curious to see what it looks like now or through Yamato's lens because we have to remember that Green Bull walked by it and was creating a forest behind him. So I'm expecting udon to look very different from Kibi right here.
Yeah, and then
about to be a
Yamato
forest,
looks at
dude.
it and says, "This isn't what's written in Oden's journal," and then she freezes it and destroys it all.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring this back to when Oden was here. I've got to destroy this land. Well, wait,
Yeah,
no. That land was actually not a desert before. It was,
True,
it was Orochi
originally.
who did that with the factories
Yeah.
and stuff and the drought. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no! Even better. Yamato goes like, "My father wouldn't have wanted this," and then she freezes it that way.
Oh,
She's
wait.
like,
What if these kids invoke the wrath of her inner Kaido? She's like, you know what? Maybe you think I'm Kaido? Maybe I am Kaido. She starts killing everybody. Next chapter, it's her holding up a kid in a flaming building. His family's dead behind him. Yo, that'd be crazy.
"What's your name?"
Yeah, and then the kid they don't say their name or anything, and then Yamato's like, huh, pathetic, and then drops them off the cliff. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
I'm
And
hyped.
then the cover story is we get a time skip, and the kid is defeating Yamato 20 years from now.
Yeah. One of the kids is like, you're the moon, unaware of the dawn. 20 years from now, 9 kids will come back and kill you, Yamato.
Oh,
Dude, yo,
God.
I will admit, man, if I was Orochi or Kaido in the past 20 years, I would be a little bit afraid. Like the whole 20 year, I actually would. Like 20 ghosts, 9 ghosts coming back in 20 years. You know, dude, I'd be sleeping with the nightlight if I was Orochi, man. I don't blame him.
No, but real talk, like in hindsight, especially, Orochi was not wrong. Like when
he was always right. He was on the money.
Yeah, he impressively so, like without Higurashi, like I think it's like chapter like 923 to like 927 where they're in the Capitol building or whatever, and all the people are like he's still talking about those ghosts. Meanwhile, it's Denjiro?
Yeah, he's one of the ghosts.
He's one of the ghosts.
I mean, same with
right
Hiyori
there.
too, technically, right? Like Hiyori was a part of the group, so it's like, yo, like you got 2 ghosts in your room, brother.
Yeah, and then everyone else is gaslighting. I'm like, low key, Orochi was on it. Like they were right there.
Do you remember,
the demons are right in front of him.
Do you remember when we first met Orochi, and then people were like, "Oh, like you can't make fun of the prophecy because Orochi will execute you," and then we were all supposed to think that Orochi was crazy. I never thought that, dude. I'd be so pissed, dude. Imagine knowing that. Okay, so he had inside information because he had Kanjuro, so he knew. He knew it's real. But you have these guys like, oh, like look at this loser over here scared of ghosts. I'd be so mad if I had proof and they were making fun of me. I'd be like, okay, we're gonna kill you now. You know, like of course I'm gonna execute you. Like I'd be so pissed. Oh
and
my
what's
god,
crazy about that,
I don't blame Orochi, man.
Detail was that for 20 years he didn't have Kanjuro because Kanjuro time skipped later on.
Yeah.
But so Orochi held on and then got the message, and he's like,
yeah, it's not, dude. Like, they're back. The Scabbards are back.
The ghosts.
Yeah, the ghosts are here.
Now you think about it, Kanjuro, because when Kanjuro comes back, he didn't know about Denjiro. So like obviously Orochi wouldn't know about Denjiro or Hiyori. So like like Orochi was like straight up with his ghost unknowing. He just knew that they were back, but like he didn't know to what capacity. And so like the defense that Orochi had was like legit. Dang.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I mean,
it's
you know, I'm not like justifying Orochi, but I feel for him, you know, like if somebody came back to haunt me, I'd be scared, pissed. I'd be everything. I'd be going through all the motions, man.
Yeah, and like, who would think that like one of the Scabbards would undergo like natural plastic surgery to despite you, like to haunt you?
Yeah, got like
literally?
what, blue hair out of nowhere. His face turns into like a weird angular thing. Like it's insane.
Yeah, that's straight up demon shit right there. Like,
Yeah, dude, Denjiro is so cool. I feel like Denjiro's too good, and I feel like we didn't use him enough back in Wano either.
my hopes are so high when he showed up at the raid, and like Zoro was like, "That's the guy," and then he one shot the ship that the captains were like fighting over, and he's just like, boom. And then I was expecting him to do so much more on Orochi, on Onigashima, but then he's just like, not really.
Yeah, he literally worked with the Scabbards. He cut off Orochi's heads initially, and then he left. He already tried to fight Orochi. She lost. And then Denjiro came back and cut him. It's like, dude, what is going on? Like, this doesn't make any sense, Denjiro. Like, what are you doing here? Well, he was also on the rooftop for a minute too, but there was that. But yeah, I don't know, dude. Denjiro, like, I feel like if the Scabbards could run it back on Onigashima, I feel like they need a playmaker, because they did not have any strategy running through their head whatsoever.
Yeah, straight up, Denjiro should be Momo's like right hand. Denjiro's also like, I feel like he should be canonically the strongest Scabbard, and like,
yeah, he should be.
Yeah, like he had 20 years of training also, which like Kinemon had to skip. Denjiro, like,
yeah, isn't that weird? Like Kanjuro, Kinemon, and Raizo, they're like on the same level as all these other dudes who've been training for 20 years. Yeah, I always thought that was so strange. It's like, wait, like what?
Yeah.
What are we saying? Like in the past, was Kinemon, Kanjuro, and Raizo that powerful, or like did these guys just not train up? Like, or did they just, like, Oda forgot, like, you know, the dynamics of the 20 years? It was just interesting.
The 20 years did. I mean, and also because like the idea was that Wano was behind on all that because like Kaido and Orochi dismantled all the dojos and everything like that.
Yeah.
But Denjiro was like a part of the crew. Like he had training and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
and then
he
I
was
mean,
given resources.
Ashura Doji was still a bandit. Like he never stopped. He never stopped the robbing.
Yeah, and he was succeeding. Like he was actually like holding. Like wasn't it like Hawkins was like looking for him or something like that?
Hawkins was looking for him. I mean, well, they were all looking for him. But Jack, when Jack found Ashura Doji, Jack was like, "Hey, Kaido wants you to join." And then Ashura Doji's like, "No." And then they start clashing for a little bit. But they clash for so long that Kaido shows up and he says, "Hey, Ashura Doji, you want to join my crew?" It's like, damn, dude. Like Ashura Doji's that powerful. You know, he's getting a little Yonko commander spot, which I would argue that if Ashura Doji did join the Beast Pirates, would you put him at Tobiropo or like bottom tier Yonko commander level?
He's probably like that's why him dying to grenades is crazy.
No sense. He died to like 5 sticks of dynamite. Pedro, it took like 1,000, and those, you know, he had 1,000 sticks of dynamite. Ashura Doji took 5 and died. It's like, dude, there's no way. There's no way. I couldn't believe my eyes. I still get mad thinking about that.
He should be above Tobiropo easily. Like,
oh god,
he's actually a swordsman, and swordsmen are always like above like regular fighters.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like he's been fighting those fighters for 20 years. Like,
yeah, I mean, and plus the design goes hard, bro. He was like Patrick Star of the Scabbards, you know, just like this giant pink dude. Oh my god. Yeah, he had so much potential. He also had like the goofy rounded teeth too. I remember seeing that when we first saw him, and I got a good chuckle out of that. That was one of my like favorite Oda designs. I think I would put Ashura Doji up there, like not even joking. What a great character.
Yeah.
And then I loved his whole struggle too, right? Because he was like, oh, you know, like, yeah, it's easy for Kinemon and, you know, Raizo and all you guys to just come back after 20 years and say, hey, let's fight Kaido. Like, dude, we've been struggling, man. Like, people have been dying. We tried to fight him already. Like, we didn't even know if you guys were still alive. It's like, dude, I felt for this guy, man. That's a real struggle.
Like, that's like the legit, like what we were saying about Orochi, like people gaslighting him, like he lived the other side of it, and it's like that's real. Like, and then how is he supposed to hold on for 20 years?
Yeah, and then Ashura Doji tried. He literally looked at his people and said, "Hey guys, 20 years from now, my friends are gonna come back." And then everybody was like, "No, dude, like that's a prophecy." And then they end up fighting Kaido and they died. And then Ashura Doji's like, "Well, yeah, like, you know, they're dumb for going, but also my friends are just gone, you know, like I don't blame him. Like I'd be so mad too. Yeah,
like,
what a great character.
It's one thing for Toki to be like 20, like Oden's like, just go 20 years later, and Toki's just like, just go this 20 years later, people come save her. But there was no plan for the people that had to stay for the 20 years.
Yeah, isn't that rough? It's like, yeah, you know, 20 years from now we're gonna win this battle, but until then, slavery. You know, hopefully you want to go to Udon prison, boys. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about starving to death for 20 years until Luffy shows up?
Like, there's no world, because like the other part of it is that the 5 years that Oden had where he knew about like the 20 years from now, like this stuff is gonna go down, and he was dancing. But like, again, like, not Oden's not that type of character, but Oden didn't put anything, like, he went into the fight with Kaido and said like, hey, if I lose 20 years from now, people are gonna win. He knew that there was a high probability he'd lose, right? Yeah. But he did not put any contingency plan aside from, here's my swords. Yeah. Here's my swords.
I don't blame Oden in a way, because he's kind of like Luffy, right? He's just like a muscle-headed guy, a fighter. Like, Luffy would never plan contingencies, you know what I mean? Like, even if he knew that, like, oh, like, if I lose or if I win, something bad's gonna happen. I doubt Luffy's gonna be like, you know what, let me plant some seeds, you know? That's like a Shanks thing or something.
It's just funny, because, like, had Oden told anybody else, I feel like anybody else would like, oh, wait, hold on, let's figure. Yeah, like Denjiro,
dude, yeah. The night Oden went off to battle, even if I believed in him, I'd be like, hey, family, pack your bags. We're going on a 20-year vacation, guys. Like, you know, like quick, while Kaido's distracted, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
God damn. Ooh. I love Wano. Wano, an arc with many ups and downs, but you know, the arc we're in right now has no downs whatsoever, because we start off with my man Kaku and Stussy, and it's a really touching scene. And people are saying this is like a Kaku L. I don't exactly see that. I think this is great for his. Yeah, I think it's Twitter rage. I need to hop off Twitter, brother. I think it's just engagement farming, but people are like, oh yeah, like finally Kaku's getting it in. Like, you know, like I hate this guy. It's like, okay, well, first off, this is like the first time he's felt emotions in like the entire series. Like, you know, this is great. It's good for Stussy. It's good for him. This is a great scene overall. I didn't know Oda would flesh out CP0 like this. I'm actually a little bit shocked.
Yeah. I was taken aback. I just want to say one thing on the Twitter thing. I have not been on Twitter, and it's the greatest thing ever.
You've been living life. I imagine like over here not going on Twitter. There's like sunshines, rainbows, like flowers probably started sprouting in your house.
Yeah, and
then
because also like I came to my friend's house and they were telling me about all these things like Justin Timberlake. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not on TikTok, or he apparently got arrested for DUI, and then like the officer didn't recognize him.
Oh,
and so
I saw that.
He's like, do you know who I am?
And he starts singing, right?
I don't know if he started singing, but the kid just didn't. He's like, no, old guy.
Yeah, he tried to like flex his. That's so. Yeah, it's so strange. Like, do you know who I am? I'm Justin Timberlake. Bye.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a song?
And then
no, it's not.
Justin Timberlake goes, no, because he was in NSYNC. But Justin Timberlake, this is gonna ruin the tour. And the officer's like, what tour? And like Justin Timberlake goes, the world tour. And that sounds so fake.
Yeah, but like, I heard that. You're gonna ruin the world tour, brother. Millions of fans are gonna cry if you arrest me for DUIs.
Yeah, and you're just like this old, like you're just a kid, like a 20-year-old kid, and you're just looking at this old guy. Yeah, sure, the world tour, old man. Like,
yeah, and it doesn't help that he's drunk, like, so it's like you definitely wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. It wasn't drunk. It was DW. Like he driving. So he had trace amounts of like a bunch of other like cocaine.
He's like drunk. Okay.
Yeah, but it was like trace amounts of like I guess the officer pulled him over,
to be honest.
And then he failed because he put like I am. This is how I imagine it. If he just took the speeding ticket or whatever, it probably would have been fine. But because he pulled the "Do you know who I am?" and that kind of thing, like that's why when the officer's like, "All right, this guy is on something. We gotta check.
Yeah, this guy is saying that he's Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Wow,
But,
I
like,
haven't heard of Justin
anyways,
Timberlake in so long.
yeah, like so, like I've been seeing a bunch of friends, and they've been telling me, I'm like, I haven't been on social media. I think it's great, and like I go on Twitter for 1 sec, like accidentally click on it, and it was Henry Thurlow, like one of the animators for One Piece, saying that like, oh, my hero's ending in 5 chapters. I really hope that Hirokoshi draws the girls as 30-year-old MILF baddies, so that I was like,
Oh, that's Henry Thurlow. Dude, Henry Thurlow is a great dude. He's so funny though. I love Henry Thurlow.
I didn't know if it was sarcasm or not, and I was like,
It's
you
like
know what?
it's like mixed. I bet it's mixed. It's like he's a little bit serious, but he's also joking. But it's also funny
Yeah.
knowing that he works for the One Piece anime every now and then, so it's even better. You know?
I that was I clicked on Twitter. That was the first thing I saw, and I was like, I closed out of the app. I was like,
No,
all
no,
right,
I would have kept on scrolling. I was like, all right, you know, we hit the gold streak here. Yeah, if you guys don't know,
Yeah.
Henry Thurlow, he does a lot of well, more recently he's been doing more and more scenes for One Piece. You probably recognize him from his contributions to like the major fights of Wano, for example. Even like small sequences here and there in Egghead. Great animator.
He's
Funny
the
guy
one
on
who
Twitter.
did the Kuzan cracker scene
Was that
from
him?
scratch. Yeah, Henry Thurlow did that. Yeah,
The main names
So,
I know are like Henry Thurlow and Vincent as well.
Yeah, Vincent's
Yeah.
going insane.
Yeah,
Vincent's
Vincent was a part of the
making a name.
Kaku Zoro scene, actually, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Vincent was the Blackbeard Law. I think he was the part of like the original Gear 5, like like the Kaido Gear 5 thing where you do the eyeball scene. Like basically all the eyeball scenes that like are huge. Vincent was a part of like it was like the main person for that. So like in S-Hawk versus Zoro, he was saying that his director was saying to emphasize the eyes on S-Hawk or something like that. So
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like this final saga has really drawn emphasis to all the eyes, like Crocodile, for example, and Mihawk, and Buggy even. Like, I never realized or noticed their eye color up until this point, and then when you get that Cross Guild episode, they like zoom in and their eyes are like very vibrant, saturated. It's like, oh damn, like they're like something's going on here, and it makes me wonder if it has something to do with Sun God Nika, for example.
yeah.
Because we know like one of the key attributes is the red eyes, not just for Sun God Nika, but the minks, all the other prominent like Sun God Nika related things like the Tamate Bako box,
right.
like
Sulong form, Mihawk,
yeah. Like I'm like, okay, like maybe Oda told him like, hey, eyes are gonna be pretty important, guys.
And
We gotta focus on that.
I'm so glad we're finally here. I remember when I first, because like one of my first theory videos, the first one was elemental Haki, and then the second one was the eyes. It was the double layered eye theory. And then most of the comments back then, because like I was on TikTok at first, and I got a lot of support on TikTok, and then a bunch of people were hating on it. But then when I moved to YouTube, that theory was one of the main theories that a lot of people are like, it's just a design thing, like Oda doesn't know anything about these eyes, they're not whatever. And then slowly more, like the moment the Seraphim got introduced and they had star eyes, I was like, come on, like, are we being for real right now? And
do the Seraphim have star eyes?
Yeah, the Seraphim all have
my
star
God.
eyes.
No, okay, I'm joking. Sorry, that was sarcasm.
Oh yeah, but like people were like,
apologies.
Like still, like Oda's, it's just the design choice. I'm like sure, let's just say it's a cool design. The whole group has it. Oda definitely has some kind of meaning there, and they're like, no, it's just to look cool. And I'm like, all right,
it can be both. You gotta admit it can be both. It could be looking cool, but it could be lore.
And then
it doesn't have to. It's not exclusive.
It could be both, and then it's like we have Sun God Nika, where it's like like at the very beginning the eyes are emphasized, and now it's to the point where like the anime directors like emphasize the eyes, emphasize. That's the most important
you think they pull out the whip? Like somebody doesn't draw the eye big enough. He's like, get back in the studio.
Yeah, like that's like I didn't read the full thing that they said, but like when I read what he wrote, it was kind of like, yo, are you okay? Because they were just like, emphasize the eyes in this fight. Yeah. I'm like, whoa. And then like, because you go to the Kaido fight,
I didn't hear about that.
the dragon is coming out of Kaido's eyeball, and then like Luffy's eyeballs also going crazy,
Yeah.
and then you go to the Lucci Luffy fight, and instead of a dragon, now it's a panther, or a leopard, and it's like a leopard that's
it's kind of like showing the
makes
will of their devil fruits inside their eyes. It's just like how Luffy, whenever Luffy attacks Rob Lucci, or Luffy fought somebody else in Gear 5 too later. But whenever he does, like, you could see like the redness of his eyes and like the monster inside. It's like, it's very apparent that's what they're going for.
And apparently behind those animations is the director going,
behind that's the director going crazy with the whip.
Yeah, like, and that's like going back to our conversation last week, like that's where it's like I feel like that has to be Oda directing that part, where it's like, why would the directors read the manga and be like, the eyeballs are that important?
Maybe not even directing,
like,
you know, Oda just like he leaves a note at the door.
Yeah. It's just like slips it underneath the thing. He's not allowed into the studio because he's known to cause chaos in there. So now he just slips. He puts a sign on the window and stuff like that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get hit by fans or anything. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna send wait. He could just send an email. Wait, what are we doing? What were you thinking about? Like, you know, writing up posters, you know, handwritten letters. Wait, he could just text message him, right?
Nah, like
we live in the modern age part. I forgot about this.
Oda's so mangaka that he would not write an email. Instead, he would like know where someone lives, and he send Morse code through like lights from their window. Like the person looks outside.
Isn't that like
window.
A Parasite? The Korean movie from like 2021.
I have no idea. I was thinking Banana Fish. I was thinking like the one where they're like in the sniper fight.
Yeah,
and they're, like,
they turn off the lights.
Yeah, and they're sending messages through the windows. Like, that's what I'm thinking of.
Banana Fish, decent anime. But but for Parasite though, that's the Korean movie, and what I was thinking of is somebody lives in the basement and they flicker the lights on and off from the basement to like send Morse code every single day.
Oh yeah, see, Oda's the type to be like, why email when I could just do that?
No, I think Oda's an email guy. There's no way. That's too much extra work. That sounds like a pain.
I'm gonna ask Matt Owens next time I see him. It's like, would Oda email you first, or would he send you a cryptic message?
Yeah, would he send you a cryptic message written in a different language? Speaking of cryptic messages, though, Stussy and Kaku.
Emotions.
Yeah, Kaku's emotions, man. So this is kind of a wholesome moment, you know. Kaku's like, hey, we're friends? What are you, an idiot? And then while he's saying that, he's like crying too, and he's kind of looking out for, you know, like, hey, you know Rob Lucci, right? Like, I respect him, but also you got to know that he's going to kill you. You got to get out of here.
Yeah. Also because Lucci didn't hear any of this, right? Like, Kaku experienced, like, he heard, like, Stussy freed Kaku, vouched for him, said, like, he's not gonna do anything. Also heard Stussy's circumstance of, like, her humanity. Lucci didn't hear any of that, right? So it's like, realistically, Lucci's just sees someone who attacked him, and, like, he would actually fight him. So it'd be, like, I would like for that scene to actually play out, where I think what would happen is that Kaku would end up coming to Stussy's defense, but like, Lucci, don't do this, brother. Like, let's just let her go. Yeah. And Lucci's like, what do you mean, brother? She attacked us. And it's like, Lucci, don't understand. I can't say it into words, but she's trying her best just like us. And then, like, Stussy's just breaking down, crying, like, these are, you know, like, you can have, and like, the thing that you said earlier is like, I didn't know that Oda was gonna flesh out this like scene so much. This is one of those scenes that in the anime they're gonna make it a whole like 10 minutes. Like, like the Kiku versus Kanjuro fight in the anime was just insanely emotional, and it was like really well done. They're gonna do that 100% here. 100%.
Here's a hypothetical: if Lucci were to show up, do you think he would kill Stussy? Or do you think because of Kaku's plea, and because Lucci's also, like, at 0 stamina, do you think he would just let her go?
I could see it going two ways, but I think ultimately, like, Lucci wouldn't care as much because he already stabbed her.
Yeah, he got his revenge already.
His revenge is, like, that was enough for what you did, you know what I mean? Like, and the realistic thing was that Lucci Lucci failed on his own because like he didn't kill Vega Punk and all that, and it was not within his power to be successful. He was waiting for Kizaru anyways. So like Stussy wasn't his main problem. It was Luffy, realistically. Like yeah, Stussy stopped them at the front, but after Lucci fought Luffy, he realized like, oh, I wouldn't have won anyways. I needed to wait for Kizaru.
Yeah, he
right?
was like, you know what? Instead of fighting Luffy, I'm gonna fight Zoro instead. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, if it was like Enies lobby where like Luffy was like on death's door and like Lucci was like not head and shoulders above Luffy, which he was, I think, at the beginning of the fight, but then by the end of it, they were both huffing and puffing. If it was like Stussy interrupting that fight, then it's like, yo, Stussy, I would have won if you didn't intervene, right? But Lucci can't look at this scenario and be like, Stussy was the problem. Like, he needs to look at Luffy and be like, that's just not...
Especially when, you know, he later learns that York also masterminded the Seraphim to attack him and everybody else, so...
Yeah.
Like Stussy on the priority list, like, yes, she's bad towards Lucci, or like she was hostile or betrayed him, but when you think of the grand scheme of things, she's like near the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to what affected the outcome here.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's not even Kizaru, because like now Lucci actually sees the Gorosei in like full form, and they can't deal with Luffy either. And so Lucci's
he brings in his boss. His boss can't beat Luffy. Then his boss brings in his other 5 bosses. They can't beat Luffy. It's like, okay. At that point, it's like, all right, you know what? Maybe next time Lucci comes by. Well, okay, here's a good question. If Lucci were to run by the Straw Hats again, like just a random island like Whitebeard and Roger, who would Lucci fight? Do you think he would try to fight Luffy because he wants to smoke again, even though he knows that he would lose? Do you think he'd fight Zoro, or do you think he would go down to Sanji?
No, he would retcon the entire series, because like our understanding of Enies lobby, Luffy and Lucci are rivals. No, Lucci's like, I'm demoting myself.
I'm bringing myself down to Zoro level. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's like he would look at Zoro and be like, I guess it's time to pick up where we left off. And Zoro's like, he ties the bandana.
Oh, you're
this time
right.
short.
Wait, no, you're so right, because Zoro said the fight's not over, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe he does want to fight Zoro instead. Yeah.
Luffy looks at Lucci, is like, wait, what about me? And then Lucci's just like, stop it, don't look at me.
Yeah, leave me alone, Luffy. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, and another thing to keep in mind about Lucci too is that he's really, just like Luffy, just like Kid, just like every prominent pirate captain, he's really stubborn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I could see him wanting to fight Zoro again, and I feel like deep down he wishes he could fight Luffy. You know, like, oh, like maybe he'll train up, maybe he'll train up again. I don't know.
Honestly, like, but the thing is, like, Lucci
interesting. I love that character.
Lucci versus Zoro being like even if I were to say it's like 50-50, like I don't know who wins realistically, right? Even if I were to say that, like I can't say that about Kid, right? Like Kid's aiming for Luffy, but like if Kid were to fight Zoro, Zoro wins. Like,
dude, it's strange when you think, like, you know, or at least I'm not a good power scaler, but it is weird to think about, right? Like, oh, Kid versus Zoro. I feel like narratively Kid should win. But, you know, but based on everything we've seen, like, you know, fight-wise, I would say Zoro wins. And then, you know, you bring Lucci into the equation, it's like, I think Lucci would beat Kid, but that's just based off of what we've seen. Like, I feel like Kid should win, though. I don't know. And then you get the Shanks thing, and it's like, god damn.
It also doesn't help that Zoro, like, kind of little broed Killer a little bit, because, like, Killer got that free shot in and stabbed him, and Zoro just smiled and then murdered him.
And then when you compare their fights, like, Killer fought Hawkins, and after that, he was done. You know, dude, Zoro fought, you know, he got all of his bones broken, got medicine, and then fought King. You know, like, they're not the same right hands. They're really not.
And Drake and Hawkins were, like, equating, like they were looking at Apoo like they were on the same tier. Zoro just got mad at Apoo and just one-shot him and said, finally, let's get
you can't say one-shot, because let me tell you, Apoo, man, he's the gift that keeps on giving. He keeps on getting back up. I'm starting to think that maybe, dude, with how much damage Apoo took in Wano, which I didn't even realize until I talked to Brago, and then Brago was like, yo, Sai, like, Apoo took like 50, you know, chapter-ending attacks from all the main characters. I'm like, what are you talking about? I went back, he did. It's like, brother, you put Apoo on the rooftop, I think he would take the Ikoku sovereignty. I don't know, man. Apoo
as
is
long
nuts.
as nobody
crazy.
tells Big Mom or Kaido how Apoo attacks work. Like, I guess like Kaido and Big Mom, they're like smart fighting wise, they'd figure it out. But like low key, Apoo's like devil fruit is like broken unless you figure it out. Because like Drake was like, I'm not afraid of you anymore because I know how your devil fruit works, right? But like, what if you don't know and he just goes boom, slash, cut, and then you're just like,
it did damage Luffy, right?
Around.
There was a moment. I can't remember if this is just like an anime only thing or if it happened in the manga. But when Apoo used like I think boom on Luffy passed out for a second. He was down for like I think like half a chapter, 5 episodes or 5 minutes of the anime.
I think that was in the manga too. Well, not the minutes wise, but that was a moment in the manga.
That's crazy.
Too. That wasn't completely made up. Yeah, which is like, yo. And the thing is, like, we know music is gonna be important. That's why Apoo's. Like,
I hope he doesn't come back. Don't you dare wish this on us. I hope.
I'm not wish.
He will come back because he's a supernova and he has that fruit. But god damn it, I don't want to poo back here, man.
Like when you think about it, like Uta, right? Like this sing.
I'd rather have Uta in here, man. Give us Uta, leave Apoo out, please.
Yeah, but like
I'm begging.
Like he's the roar of the sea, bro. Like,
don't bring his epithet in here. The roar of the sea. Yeah, good one. Good one, Par.
Crazy epithet. Come on.
When you hear howling on the waves, it's Apoo. Apoo the musical pirate. Oh god.
Yeah. The problem with Apoo is he's the part of Killer Bee that you don't like.
Oh yeah, just I hate music. I just really don't like music in anime, man.
Well, like, yeah, like, you liked Killer Bee's character, but then when he starts, like, oh, rap, but that's Apoo. Apoo has that same, like, gimmick thing.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit less, and, like, less, like, intentionally rhyming and rapping, but, like...
With Killer Bee, I liked it at first, when he was, like, rapping and weaving it into his fights with Sasuke.
Yeah.
But after that fight with Sasuke, he just put in no work, dude. Killer Bee put in zero work on anybody, and he would still rap. And it's like, okay, dude, it's not cool anymore because you're losing. You know, it was cool because he was rapping and he was beating Sasuke, and then after that, he's rapping and he's just not doing anything. He's on the side. It's like, okay, now it's just too much, man. You gotta catch those W's before you do that.
You know, the one thing that, like, because I think I told you a little bit off call, like, I want to make, like, a big news Morgans, like, not a big video, but just, like, there was a few key moments that are really interesting.
Yeah.
And, like, one thing that I am curious about is that, like, Apoo, like, talked about having, like, a relationship with Big News Morgans. He's like, he did. Nobody else has been, like a pirate-wise has been like, oh, I can't wait to tell this to Big News Morgans. He's going to pay me out. And that relationship's so interesting because, like, now Big News Morgans is going to be on coming to the forefront. And it might be that when Big News Morgan comes. Because here's the other thing.
Apoo's going to be his right hand. No.
Yeah, because Big News Morgans is, what does he call himself? He's the DJ that mixes the DJ of the sea, up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Apoo is the mixer. He's the instrument for his chaos. And I'm like, yo, they're going to be a team.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't, like, I could see it. Do I want it? No.
Yeah, like, I think Apoo has the potential to drag Big News Morgan's reputation, because Big News Morgan's has one of the most positive reputations in the One Piece community. I don't know anybody who's like, I hate Big News Morgan's. I dislike when he comes into the story mystery. Or in the manga. Yeah, he has, like, there's, like, cool theories. Like, some people think he's a Rogers pirate and, like, other stuff. And it's, like, in general, he's, like, cool. But, like, Apoo is the opposite. Like, people get he's a pirate, but, like he's kind of like Blackbeard, where he's like an actual pirate, but his character's still not like, wow.
People don't like him because his music is bad. He's weak. He's long arms. His appearance, like there's a lot of things to hate about Apoo. And here's the thing with
your hate for him is completely. No one goes, I hate him because he has long arms. No one does that.
I hate his race and his tribe. Yeah, that's why I hate Apoo. And the music kills me, man.
But picture this side, you're gonna see You're gonna see those long arms wrapped around Big News Morgan saying, "Hey,
No, not just Big News
Morgan."
Morgans. It's gonna be wrapped around Vivi because she's with Big News Morgans too. Big News Morgans, Vivi, and Wapol just all in one room with the poo.
The craziest group up. The craziest. Like, just Wapol, Apoo, and Big News Morgans is a One Piece fever dream.
That is a fever. Dude, imagine they invite Foxy. All they need now is Foxy, right?
Yeah, just like
all they need now is Foxy, and that's gonna be a gross lineup.
Yeah. A gross lineup that I could see Oda putting together. After Cross Guild, he needs the opposite, right? Because Cross Guild's like the cool fever dream, like Buggy.
Oh,
Mihawk,
I mean, not even just
Croc.
that. We have Neo Mads too, right? Like, dude, we're getting a lot of factions popping up. So, like, as memey as this sounds, I could see Apoo joining Big News Morgans. I 100%.
Yeah, Wapol, Big News Morgans. That's crazy.
And you know what? He should bring Hawkins with him because I mean I don't know where the hell Hawkins is gonna go. Dude, wait. Every newspaper has a horoscope little segment, right? Dude, Hawkins could do that. You know, imagine like spicing up the newspaper, like, hey guys, so like today with your reading with Hawkins, here's the Tower card.
Wait, no, that's actually a thing. Like, so people don't know this, but
that's a real thing.
Enies Lobby. And after Enies Lobby, Oda did like a Road to Laugh Tale thing after Enies Lobby, and it was in the form of a newspaper. So he released like 4 newspapers that were supposed to be the perspective of what the world sees, but it was supposed to give us information. So in the newspaper, it was led by Big News Morgans, and they had an interview for Iceberg. Iceberg did a top 3 ships of all time article, opinion piece, and he put Enel's ship as number 1. And he said, like, but Oro Jackson has to be above there. So he did, like, he broke down ships, and that was, like, a part of the thing. And in that, there was, like, a weather report, and there was, a prediction, like, a horoscope type of thing that was, like, based off of, like, this and this. I suspect the seas are going to get stored. It was actually like that. So you're right. Like, Hawkins might actually be with this group. Hawkins, Apoo, Big News Morgans, and... You know, I'm actually grossed out. I'm so scared because I feel like next chapter, we're gonna see this because of what happened in this chapter with what we said last week about Gaimon, and then in this chapter, Oda we'll talk about it when we get there, but like the gravity of that happening is so crazy.
Yeah,
given the context.
And here's the thing too: people think that Hawkins is dead, and I think that's very fair, but Oda doesn't. I say this a lot. Oda doesn't like killing characters. He's talked about that time and time again. He doesn't like killing characters because he wants them to come back for one big hurrah. And that is one of the key reasons why I don't think Big Mom or Kaido are dead, because they still have their pirate groups around here. You know, without them, like, I don't really see what's going to happen. You could say they retired. You know, Kaido and Big Mom, they're alive, but they retired. That's totally fine. But I do think characters like that, characters like Hawkins, for example, they're all still around. They're still kicking. Will they have a prominent role in the story? Probably not. And you have to think of ways to sideline people like that. And Hawkins and Apoo being sidelined with Big News Morgans, that's like the best place they could be. You know? And we saw Drake. Drake was alive. You know, Drake got stabbed in the throat. Hawkins, who just lost an arm, I think is good. Okay, and here's the thing part. Would you rather get shot in the throat or have your arm cut off? I think I could survive having my arm cut off. You know, cut it off. There was fire around, cauterize it. You're fine. Drake getting stabbed in the throat? No. I wouldn't survive that.
We've seen plenty of people survive an arm amputation over poked in the throat. Yeah. Shigan, like shot in the throat,
Shanks, actually, Kid. There's one more guy without an arm, right?
Kyros with the leg.
Kyros with his leg, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one more person without an arm. No. I'm thinking of Kuzan. Kuzan doesn't have a leg.
And an arm.
Kuzan doesn't have an arm either?
I think it's both, right? Isn't it one leg and one arm?
Kuzan post time skip. I think you're right. Damn, dude. If that's true, then Akainu really messed him up.
Yeah.
No. It's just a leg. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, it's just a leg.
His right side got really burned, but it's still there.
Burned.
Yeah.
That would suck if it was both.
It got burned, and then it looks like he just does like the one glove thing.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I think at least from the picture I saw. But yeah. But yeah, like I think
Gotcha.
Hawkins is fine. Like he can definitely survive that. And you got to remember, the attack came from Killer, not Zoro.
Yeah.
We talked about, we talked about the disparity, but have you watched the latest anime episode?
No, I didn't watch the full. I
Dude.
watched like the S-Hawk Zoro scene though.
They made Kaku look kind of cool.
did.
Outside of Kaku screaming for his life, when he attacked with Zoro and he used his white slicer, it looked pretty sick. Like his leg lit up blue. It was like white and blue, yeah. It was almost like Sanji's Ifrit Jambe, but instead of it being like an outward fire, it was like an inwards fire. I was like, oh shoot, dude. Like Kaku, like where the hell did this come from?
Giraffe power, baby.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, I mean, Kaku, it's going back to this. With Kaku looking out for Stussy and with him feeling kind of sad about this, what do you think's going to happen now with Stussy? Like, do you think she's going to go with the Straw Hats? Do you think that ship has sailed already and she can't go with them? Or do you think she just goes off and does her own thing, retires like Bellamy, or finds a new group like Neo Mads? We're talking about factions, and I think this is a great place to bring it up.
It's an interesting thing because like CP9 after Enies Lobby, they were independent, right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of in a similar boat right now where it's like realistically their bosses isn't Kizaru, it's the Gorosei. And the Gorosei don't care about these insects. Stussy is a traitor, it's not like they'll get them back. So at the scope of post Enies Lobby, they were the failure was pinned on Lucci. But the destruction of the Buster Call that shouldn't have been called, Spandam accidentally called the Buster Call. That was pinned on Lucci and CP9.
Yeah.
And so in this current situation, they actually have someone who betrayed. And like Kaku obviously is showing like allegiances with Stussy, like he cares. Lucci, like does he have recourse? Can he go back? And that's the question where I don't understand where like Lucci in particular would stand with the Gorosei, because like we've talked about it, like he cares about Kaku, right? Now Kaku's split between Stussy and the group, but Kaku also is like, yo, the Gorosei are gross, right? Like he looked at them and was like, look at those monsters, right? And Lucci goes, like, that's actually our bosses, that's the Gorosei. Like, does Kaku have like I choose Stussy over them, right? Like, and then where does Lucci go? Because then if CP0 comes back to the Gorosei as just Lucci and Kaku, like, do they continue to push out their orders? Like, it's such a weird thing, and like maybe they just disappear a little bit, and it's like kind of like post Enies Lobby CP9 where they go do their own thing and they like come to their own understanding. Maybe CP0 does the same thing. They're all strong enough to exist completely on their own without any fear. Like I don't think that they realistically would. Yeah, like Yonkos are stronger than them, sure, but like even if they came up against like a Yonko crew on the ocean, I feel like they could escape. Like,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
just the three of them, they're good.
It's going back to the Luffy thing, right? Luffy versus Lucci. People look at that fight and they clown on Lucci, and I think that's fine. Like who can really fight the main character? But in the grand scheme of the world of One Piece, Lucci being able to keep up for an episode and a half, that is really impressive. Like, dude, like. Outside, like you said, outside of the Yonko, Lucci should be fine. Like if Lucci rolled up on any other pirate other than a Yonko, he's good. He's good.
It's almost same thing with Kaku too. Kaku, Stussy, they're not afraid of like anybody. Like, I don't think
like who would actually give these guys trouble minus a Yonko? Like when you really like we were debating a second ago about the Kid thing. If he rolls up on Kid, I don't know. But like Hawkins, they roll up on a supernova. Oh my god. Dude, put Apoo in front of Lucci. You think Apoo's walking out of there? No, dude. They're strong.
About Yamato on Wano, where like Yamato is like an end stage demon lord for Wano.
Yeah.
Like that's what Stussy lands on any island, she wins. Like I don't think that she loses. Like she can usurp an entire country. Same thing with Kaku. Like that would be unironically the funniest like storyline where they like. My island was taken over by a giraffe man. Like that'd be a funny manga to read.
As far as CP0 goes, I don't think there's going to be any recourse for them. So you bring up like the whole thing where like Kaku's showing some like sympathy for Stussy, some allegiance to her. The thing with that is that none of the Gorosei are here right now, so I think this is going to be under wraps. Like, nobody's going to know. And I doubt Kaku's going to say, I let Stussy get away. He might tell Lucci, but I don't know about that.
But, and then here's the other thing, because, like, we don't know, but, like, Lucci reported everything minus the Stussy stuff when he gave the report to Kizaru. Like, we don't, like, as far as what we heard, he did not mention that the CP0 has a traitor, which he could have said, like, because he was basically, he was like out loud saying, like, 2 Vega Punks are dead, there's 4 Straw Hats here. He could have said, and there's like a traitor, like one of the CP0 agents are working with the thing, or like Stussy. He didn't say that. So like, Kizaru doesn't know, Saturn doesn't know, so that's all fine. But like, would Lucci, like, if Stussy stays with them, like, she can't, so she has to go on her own, and it's like, then it's weird because I feel like Stussy goes with them.
I don't think she does. I don't think she does. And
Stussy's low key in the position of Yamato on Wano, like being on the enemy side but being the betrayer kind of, and like low key where Yamato is right now in the cover stories. I could see Stussy being on that front.
That's what I said in my when I talked about the chapter in my review. I was like, yo, like Stussy could literally have their own cover page story, just following the adventures of her.
I think that's where Stussy, we're gonna get a cover story development of just Stussy, and I'd be fine with that. Stussy's dope.
As far as this goes, though, I don't think she's going to go back home with CP0. I could see Kaku saying that she died or she got away or something like that. And then as far as Lucci goes, I don't think there's going to be any recourse. Like you said, he didn't really tell the Gorosei or Kizaru that there's a betrayer within CP0, and even then, like, back when Kizaru and Saturn were on the boat here, they talked about, like, oh, like, this is Rob Lucci's report. Like, oh, like, holy crap, this guy's crafty. He's great. And then when Mars showed up here, after Lucci gave the report, he was like, yo, Rob Lucci of Cyberpol Zero, like, I don't think he said good job, but, like, he acknowledged that Rob Lucci did something. Like, whoa, like, damn, like, all this information.
Lucci was able to make a request, and he actually was just like, he didn't say no. He said, like, I can't guarantee
I can't guarantee that your request can be fulfilled. It's like, dude, he still heard him out, like, he literally heard him out. So I feel like Rob Lucci he's such a great agent that I don't think there's going to be any recourse like there was when
they would be the stupidest
lobby
bosses.
Happened. Yeah,
they'd be the stupidest bosses to sacrifice another one of their best agents. Like there's no evidence that Rob Lucci isn't their strongest.
Yeah,
because we saw the masked agents.
He's literally the strongest CP0 agent. Getting rid of him or firing him and Kaku, because they're a package deal. No, actually, I would extend that. The rest of CP0 is also a package deal because it's Jabra, it's Kumadori, it's Fukuro, and Khalifa and Bluno. Like, if you get rid of Lucci and Kaku, you're losing them too. You disband the crew. A fighting force that was willing to die for the government for no reason.
For no reason.
Like, literally, you would only have Spandam left. Spandam would be the only CP0 agent if they disband CP0.
It's funny because they like Spandam for some reason.
Grandfather nepotism. It's because his dad was the leader of CP7 or whatever.
They the like only Spandam reason. As much as they like King Bakori, where King Bakori could fail.
Yeah, King
He's
Bakori,
like
man.
The son that gets everything despite being the failure. Like, it's so crazy. They're like, oh, you lost your country again? No worries, son. We'll send you another army to take over.
Dude,
oh, you lost the
anime is so close to King Bakori. I'm excited.
But like, so if I were to make a prediction, we're gonna get Stussy like path the cover story thing next. Like after Egghead, it's gonna be like path. The succubus path to humanity. That's what it's gonna be. Like something like that. Oda's not gonna miss the chance to highlight the succubus stuff.
Is she a succubus? I mean, she's probably like a vampire, huh? Or like a bat.
But like, and it's kind of there because she like she's literally the queen of pleasure. That's her thing. And that's the other part of it. Like, I low key like.
I can see a succubus transformation within the Holy Knights.
And like again, people are gonna spin this crazy, but what I mean by this is like we've seen the CP0 side, now we see the Vega Punk side, now we get her clone backstory stuff, but she's also the underworld emperor of Pleasure District, which is like, that's a crazy position
it's a good title
to have. And I wouldn't be mad if we followed like the path of pleasure with Stussy on
Yeah,
the
get like
cover.
get everything that happens within the underworld. That wouldn't be bad. Like
Yeah, like she has to go back to her throne. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like let's see that.
It's
you know?
it's we still have a long ways to go in the Yamato cover page story, so I feel like well, as much as I would like the Stussy one, I feel like we'd be too far in. I mean, it depends what Stussy's is all about, right? It depends where she takes us, but overall, though, like as far as what group you think she would join, where do you think she would go? Like, if she doesn't go back with CP0, if she does escape Egghead, like, do you think it's Neo Mads? Do you think it's with the original Ms. Bakken cross? I've seen people say cross guild. Do you have any like strong feelings one way or the other?
No, I actually think her story is gonna be independent, and it's more gonna be like she's gonna interact with like 2 or 3 important groups, like casually. Like she's gonna end up helping them, or she's gonna like what's the 2 or some are gonna be like Luffy allies, and she's like, oh, you guys are like, you know, like I know Luffy, blah blah, and it's gonna be like a connection like that. I feel like it's gonna be similar to like, what was it, Caribou ended up interacting with like Drake, and then like one of Kaido's crewmates, and then like Beige's thing. We randomly got introduced to Sword in Beige's cover story, so I feel like it's something along those lines where it's like we get like a story about Stussy, and then in her story, because she's island hopping or whatever, she interacts with like the Revs. Maybe she interacts with the Revs somehow. And they're like, wait, she's CP0. Like, wait, that's crazy. But then she says, like, oh no, like I helped Vega Punk, I helped Lucci,
I'm good friends with Luffy, or
something like that. Yeah, something like that. Maybe she crosses paths with Sabo. Like that would be a crazy story.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, something like that. I could see something along those lines.
I could see her going really anywhere. She's such a flexible character. But if there's one thing that I think. One character I think she should meet, I think it would be the original Ms. Bakken. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. It's just the only problem with that is that right now, Bakken's path is kind of like locked in, where it's like she's kind of just staying on Sphinx Island, and then other than that, it's Impel Down, because that's where Weevil went.
Yeah.
And she hired Marco to go take care of that because she's not strong enough. So, like, does Bakken leave Sphinx Island? And if she stays on Sphinx Island, what reason does Stussy have to go to Sphinx Island, right? It's like, unless she was going there specifically for Bakken because she knew Bakken was there, then...
Or maybe, like, they just run into each other on the sea, too.
Yeah, it could be that. I could see it. It might. Hey, you know what? It might be that Stussy runs into a Whitebeard pirate. Like maybe we find out about other Whitebeard pirates because of Stussy.
Oh, Vista could come back. The only Whitebeard pirate people actually care about at this point is just Vista and Marco.
Mihawk, Marco. Yeah, like maybe she runs into like a Whitebeard pirate and something like that.
I think Marco would be a good run-in. Miss Bakken and Marco go to Impel Down together, and then Stussy's just nearby.
There's a lot of things that can happen. Just help Marco with Impel Down.
Yeah, and then just go back home to Sphinx Island and see the home of Whitebeard, which I don't even know how she'd feel. Like, I wonder how she feels about the original Ms. Bakken. We don't really have that context, huh?
No, we don't have that context at all.
Yeah, dude,
you don't even know if Stussy knows that like she's still kicking it. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, yeah. We don't know if she knows, but she is also a part of CP0, the greatest intelligence force in the world.
Yeah. You know, I was looking back in the chapter. She's the reason why Vega Punk knows that the dragon fruit was on Wano.
Yeah, Stussy is the inside man for everything.
Yeah, because like that information wasn't like reported. It's not like it was in the newspaper. But then the reason why they know is because Nika told that to Lucci, right next to Lucci was Stussy. And so then Stussy tells Vega Punk like, "Yo, the dragon fruit's on Wano," and then and then Vega Punk confirmed it with Luffy later because he didn't have confirmation because. In order for that information to be confirmed, he would need like an eyewitness, but all Stussy had was like a word through the grapevine of like this guy saw it and that guy heard it and that kind of thing. So she didn't actually see it with their own 2 eyes, which makes sense because nobody should have seen it. Like Wano barely saw it, like just the flower capital. But then most of the other people didn't know who Momo was. They were like, "Wait, there's a dragon? Isn't that just Kaido? Wait, why is Kaido pink?"
Well, then
now?
again,
And then,
we could also have a thing where Green Bull told the rest of the Marines, and then now it's like common knowledge that there's another dragon in Wano.
that's true, but it depends on the. I guess it would depend on the. Oh yeah, it was before they showed up.
And then,
I guess
they're
it'd be
probably
'cause,
wondering like why there's another dragon other than Kaido.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh wait, the government funded Vega Punk to like make that fruit.
Oh yeah, Green Bull. Did Green Bull, when he saw Momo, was it like surprised?
Yeah, he was surprised. He said another dragon. He was surprised.
Yeah. Which is interesting because again, CP0 like already informed them, and CP0 knew about the Vega Punk thing because they like, oh, this must be Vega Punk's fruit. Because they like randomly were talking about it. Like that was the other part about the CP0 conversation, because before Momo did that, Guernica's like, I really hope that thing was really a failure. And then I forgot, Maha was like, wait, why are you breaking this up now? And he's like, I don't know, it's just a feeling. And then the next time we see them, it's like, oh, a dragon, oh my god. And it's like, wait, didn't you just talk about the dragon? That's crazy that you saw that happening, Guernica, or something like that. It was something like that. And I was like, huh, Guernica's interesting. You know what? How about this? Would you be mad if Nika comes back on the story because apparently he's like alive?
Would I be mad if Nika came back?
Yeah.
The random CP0 agent. If he does, I wouldn't be mad. I think what I would want is just like a real showing of what he can do. Since he's a masked agent, I want to see what he's like without the mask even. I feel like the reason why I don't like some of these CP0 guys is just because we don't know enough about them, right? Like at Eni's lobby, we saw like all the rest of those CP9 guys, and they were kind of fleshed out a little bit. But for Nika, he was just kind of there. Like he was just a plot device. He came in, we killed Izo, we stabbed Drake, time to hold Luffy back so he can go Gear 5th. It's like, okay.
The reason why I ask is because another plot line that Stussy could follow is she could come into contact with the Big Mom pirates, and the last we heard of the CP0 was that they were they ran into Big Mom pirates off of Wano. So if like Oda's planting that seed and they've lost connection, those CP0 agents are gone, it might be that through a Stussy cover story we end up getting an update about Big Mom and the CP0 agents that were captured.
And that's not bad either, because it's Smoothie who was out there too. And we know that Smoothie and Stussy had interactions before, so
yeah.
That'd be solid, man. So now that we're an hour deep into this conversation, it's time to get to the second page of the chapter. What's up?
Wait.
What's up?
Also, Big Mom should know about Stussy.
Yeah.
Like Bokkins.
Yeah.
But like we don't know if Big Mom connected the dots like on Whole Cake Island, or if like that was something Oda had fleshed out. But Stussy going to Big Mom wouldn't be a bad thing for her narrative, because then when if Stussy reveals like, yo, I'm Bokkins or whatever, Big Mom be like, wait, what? That's crazy. I knew you were familiar or something. And then that's how she gets a story.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, I agree with that, but also like, I feel like we've talked about this before, like the Bokkins and Big Mom thing. I feel like where I ended up was that I think Big Mom knows.
Yeah.
I think Big Mom knows that this is a clone.
It like, as far as the story goes, the question becomes like, basically the way Oda wrote it is like, it's not relevant to the Whole Cake Island, so like Oda could have just like left it out, but like the fact that she was invited to the tea party, it could be that like, yeah, she knows, right?
Yeah,
like,
and plus they have the same name too.
Yeah, so like but that would be interesting too, because then it's like maybe Stussy, you know what, Stussy could like round up the Rocks pirates.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, like how we were talking about the factions coming back, like Mads, right? Like Rocks pirates.
It could be
and, like,
Stone.
Stussy, the
Stone Pirates.
Rocks, the Stone Pirates. Ooh.
Yeah, Big Mom, Kaido. We could get Shiki back in here. A couple of those guys are dead right now. Who else would we get? Is that it?
Wang Ji.
Wang. Oh yeah, Wang. Oh yeah, he's in he should be in Impelled Down. Yeah.
Some.
Hey, if he's an impel
Goku
down,
Rangy.
Miss Bokkins, let me tell you. OG
Yeah.
Miss Bokkins and Wang Ji. Hey, you never
like
know,
it might be
man.
that Stussy goes to level 6 and sees like a bunch of X-Rocks pirates, and then it's just like, wait a second, like shit, you know that guy that everyone thinks is Rocks just on like level 5 that's frozen? Like Stussy could be like, wait a second, that's Rocks.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that theory. That's a good one.
Like,
That's a goofy one.
yeah,
Just some
I like-
random
Stussy's a
background
cool
character who has like the crazy hair. They're like, oh my god, it's Rocks, guys.
Yeah. Well, also because when Bon Clay read the thing, there was like the guy that had like Rock Thompson or something like that.
Yeah.
Like his name was Rock something, and he was on level 5, so people were like, that's Rocks. And it's like there's so many theories about that, but it's like I'm not mad at the Stussy angle of it, where Stussy could bring back Rocks like through her cover story. That'd be kind of crazy if that was the play.
Maybe too crazy.
Yeah, maybe too crazy, but like Oda's crazy enough. Oda's
Yeah.
crazy enough.
I don't see that
can see
happening, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, through the Vince Milk story, we got the Mads, right? So it's like, and like the way it started, it didn't feel like we'd get that. So then it's like,
Oh no,
like, maybe
I
Yamato
get you.
goes around Wano, and then the end of it is that she rounds up the Beast Pirates again, like, and then she sets sail. Like maybe
yeah.
that's what it is, right?
I think
just
yeah.
reclaiming. The
We
groups.
talked about that too, like just because Yamato could easily find the Tobi Roppo, Jack, because they're missing. They're all still missing. I think they're still in Wano.
And they're hated. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and that could be the thing where it's like Yamato can't dispel the hate that people had. She can't be mad at them, just like the Beast Pirates, right? Like, there's no world that they get reacclimated to Wano. So Yamato can be like, like I understand, like you guys are just my dad beat your asses, right? Like it wasn't all your fault, but
I mean,
also we can't blame the Wano people for hating you. So let's just leave.
Yeah, and another thing too is that's exactly what Oden did, right? Oden gathered up the rejects of Wano and then brought them
Yeah.
underneath him as his Scabbards. So Yamato,
Yeah.
like, I feel like it's a pretty popular theory that Yamato would do the exact same with the Beast
So-
Pirates, and then that's how she sets sail as well. She sets sail with the former Beast Pirates
wait,
and just
also,
rehabilitates
like,
them.
Anel's backstory. Anel loses everything. He goes up and rounds up a new army, right?
Yep.
Like, and then CP9 did the same thing. Lucci loses. He goes back, and now they're CP9, and now they're CP0, right? Like, I guess every cover story is essentially just like how these people come back, and then like the characters
With
that
the
Oda
bigger
wants
group.
to keep in, they regroup and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
like the overall thematic.
Yeah.
Huh.
The only
Yeah.
Beast Pirate that I don't think is going to be with Yamato, if that happens, is probably just Jack. Jack is a
True.
big Kaido fanboy, so
Mm-hmm,
I don't think he would
And
enjoy that.
Queen has to go to Mads, right?
Oh yeah, Queen's going to Mats. I mean, yeah. I mean, Queen
Yeah.
is going to impel down most likely since Green Bull captured him.
True.
So yeah, King and Queen are out of the equation. So like without the the big three, Yamato will get the rest. Because I mean, let's be
Yeah.
fair. If you're like a Black Maria, if you're a ulti page 1, like, would you really want to fight Yamato? I don't
It was
think
just
so.
crazy because they had the thing where like, who's gonna take Yamato down? And it's like, none of you guys, please
Yeah.
stop this competition.
Pretty much.
They were all so confident. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna become a head, like what was it, a commander, a calamity by taking Yamato's head. And then we met Yamato, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry guys, you had no chance. It's okay,
Yeah.
none of you guys.
So pretty much all that said, we believe that a lot can happen with Stussy. She can literally go anywhere. It's that simple. Yeah.
And it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be excited. I'm waiting for it.
Oh yeah. Will it be a
Yeah.
cover page story? We'll see, because Yamato still has like a good 20 volumes left.
Yeah.
So it's it'll be interesting. So the next thing we got Luffy and Bonney Gear 5th. Funny because
Yeah.
last week Bonney was in the giant Nika form, and now Luffy's in the giant. I mean, I guess you can't really tell perspectives here, POVs, but it looks like Luffy's now the giant and Bonnie's now small. So they're going in and out of sizes, or they're bouncing back and forth. The Marines are
I
like,
think
yo,
they're
like,
just both big.
oh yeah, they could both be big, and Bonnie's just like in the background. The Marines are like, hey, that's Straw Hat. That's just like his bounty poster. The Giants are celebrating Nika. And then Mars says, hey, that is just a fake made by the Toshi no Mi. Don't get ahead of yourselves. And Luffy grabs onto Mars while he's blasting him. Luffy tanks the attack. And then he's like, hey, we can't beat these guys. They'll just recover. So we just got to get rid of them. You know, we got to toss them to the curb. And that is exactly what he does. He tells everybody to hit him at full force. Sanji and Franky go for it right away without even questioning it. Bonnie's like, wait, what the hell? You know, the Giants, after they're done dancing the Nika dance, they're like, hey, let's water these sails so we can get the hell out of here. They attack Luffy, and Mars gets sent flying. There's a lot here to encapsulate, but, you know, in a general, like, it's all one plot point. How do you feel about it? Any good thoughts?
Bonnie's crewmate. Bonnie's getting acclimated to the crew.
Yep.
That's a cool feeling. I feel like the way Oda did it just feels good. You know what I mean? Like, all the arguments people had about who's the next Nakama, who's the next crewmate. And like we've said this before, I said it before. I don't care. I don't care who's a crewmate. If Oda does it, I just hope he does it well. I hope whoever joins the crewmate, it doesn't take away from their development or the crewmates, other crewmates' developments. But like, I don't think I felt better about like the dialogue around the joining more so than this. And other characters had like, some people are like, oh my god, like Yamato caught Luffy, she's joining the crew. And I remember when that happened, I said, this is the closest thing that made her feel like a crewmate, was like, she was the one who caught Luffy after the fight. She was the one who brought him back and everything, and had like the Joy Boy conversation, right? And that's all good and dandy. I felt good. But this is like Sanji's recognizing it and says like, our captain's orders are absolute. And instead of Bonnie pushing back on it like Kid or Law, the other supernovas, or Beige, who would be like, I'm not taking orders from you, Straw Hat. Who do you think you are, Mugiwara, for giving me orders?
Yeah.
Bonnie's like, all right, let's do this. And she's just like, Nika, punch! And it's like, she's with it too. So it's like, it's a two-way street. And like, Luffy commands everybody. Sanji brings her in the commands. They're referring to it as like a familiar, like Bonnie-chan. And then Bonnie's like, yeah, Nika punch. I guess I'll follow you guys. And it just feels good.
And in this scene too, Bonnie really does feel her age, right? Because before this, you know, she was trying to act tough, act like an adult, but in the panels where she's like, wait, Luffy, attack him. Like, what are you guys talking about? You know, it feels like a kid that's just like kind of awestruck, you know? I think last week we kind of equated it to like a kid hanging out with Superman. That's what this is. You know, she's learning what Superman does. And it's really nice to see.
Bonnie could only feel like a kid around Kuma. Like, whenever she was with Kuma, she was in her kid form. She never tried to, like, fake it, whatever. And that was, like, her desire. Like, whenever she thinks about Kuma, she would just, like, revert back. Like, when she was mad at Vega Punk, right? And after the memories, she reverted back to her kid form and let, like, Vega Punk, like, embrace, like, because Vega Punk knows the kid Bonnie and stuff like that. That, like, she was comfortable to be herself, to be her age, to reflect her true self. That's what's happening here, where she's like, yo, like, this is the guy, this is my dad's savior, my savior. I get to be me again, you know? And the whole crew is now, like, they're not acting like Bonnie's, they're acting like Bonnie's a kid too. And the irony is that largely, like, the Straw Hats don't know, like, Bonnie's, like, story. Because, like, the flashback, it's not like Saturn and Bonnie were like open monologuing Kuma's backstory.
Yeah, right? Like, we spent, like, I think 5 weeks in Kuma's backstory, and we got to see everything. But for the Straw Hats, literally 5 seconds passed, and that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
That was 5 seconds.
They don't know that, like, realistic. It's like Vega Punk didn't, like, yeah, maybe in the time they told, like, that Bonnie is actually a kid, sure. Like, maybe that's what or Bonnie did that. But, like, from what we have seen, that's not, like, a major thing. They're just naturally going towards that, like, direction that, like, and that goes into the line of, like, the true relationships that the Straw Hats, like, end up building up. Like, when Luffy connects with Nami and then goes to her village, he doesn't even hear her backstory. He just gets it, right? And that might even be more powerful than Nami having to explain everything about her for, like, Luffy to actually care about her, right? Like, the whole point, like, the villagers, you know, like, whether they knew the story or not, they still treated Nami a type of way where Luffy's is like, nah, you're my friend. Here's a straw. We about to fuck shit up, right? With like Luffy's just like, yo, you act like a kid, I'm gonna treat you like a kid. And like Sanji, Franky, everyone's like, Bonnie-chan, you just gotta listen to the captain. And she's like, and then like it's just fun times, right? So
Yeah.
it feels good. It feels good. This whole segment, it felt very Luffy logic. Everyone just going with it. And I don't know if you saw on Twitter, the other part was I had a misunderstanding about the thing, and then the TCB translator was or editor was they're always in my stream, and so whenever I have a question about why TCB did something, they can answer directly. And so here, when it said giant Nika memories right punch, originally I didn't understand that the memories wasn't. Like, I didn't know that was Sanji.
Oh.
And then the translator was like, that's why we chose different fonts so that it lined up with different people. You can see it. So when I was like, wait, giant Nico memory punch? That's crazy. And then, because like Luffy says, I'm going to give you, Luffy asked like for you guys to give me everything. And then so then I thought Bonney was like, fine, you want to feel my full trauma? And I thought she was like imagining Kuma's trauma and punching Luffy
I
with
see.
it. And like I was just laughing about the like the moment of like when Luffy says to his crew like, give me all of the power that you can give. And then the one of the artists that listens to the stream, they animated it on Twitter and they like credited me, and it was just like Luffy says, give me everything, and then Franky goes, well, let me tell you about this shipwright, and then Sanji goes like, well, technically all my trauma started before I was born, and then Bonney goes, let me tell you about my dad, and it's like that's their most powerful punch, is like Luffy getting trauma dumped on, and I was just like laughing. But it'd be crazy if they could do that and like they hit Saturn or Mars with those powers. But that was what I was thinking when I was like, giant Nico memories punch. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see that. Like when I read this, I was like, oh yeah, like Hell's Memories, you know, like that was the first thing I came to. I was like, oh, Hell's Memory and Ifrit Jambe, that's the first time. And then Franky, this is a new attack too. Strong impact right, impactful strong right. Like that's a brand new one.
Yeah, and then it's also funny because we talked about it on stream how it's a new one, but it's also like an
still
ant
a punch
in a hurricane.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like this, like to clarify, right? Like I think you said it. Sanji's the most powerful, then it's Bonney, then it's Franky. But like for this call, what would be the percentage breakdown?
Sanji would definitely contribute to 50% of the damage. Franky,
okay.
I'd say Franky and Bonney are pretty tight because like. When I just think about them, well, I guess it's not fair. I think Bonney would be more, because I'm just thinking about, she has to be, because I'm thinking back to when they fought the Vice Admirals, right? Franky used a regular strong right to take down Cincinnati. A regular strong right, a single hit.
Yeah.
Broke his arm. Oh yeah, he's another character with no arm, by the way. Going back to the kid thing, yeah, another guy with no arm. So yeah, Franky broke his arm with a regular strong right. So impactful strong right's got to be like 2 times the power. Bonney took down a VA just by using her Devil Fruit in a base form. This is Nika form. You know, the disparity between Luffy in base form versus Sun God Nika is so crazy. So it's hard to put, but
she's using a giant Haki to up punch.
Yeah, it's all blackened. It's got to be. I think that's Haki, but yeah, I would say Bonney would be like 30%, and then I'd give Franky 20. So Sanji 50, Bonney 30, Franky 20. I think that's fair.
It's
but
fair.
I don't know.
I can understand it, but just the depiction of it, right? Because it's like Sanji goes, "Don't let up, Bonney," and then Franky goes, "Keep going till you crush the life out of him." Meanwhile, Sanji's using like the flaming kick of demon gods. Bonnie's invoking like Jesus Christ himself, like her version of the biblical God, and then like Haki on top of it, and then Franky's just using ball and chain. And like,
hey! You don't know how impactful strong right works, Par.
Yeah,
For all we know, there's like rockets on it. There's like a mini nuke at the tip of the fist.
No. Yeah. Because he fought Cincinnati, so realistically, what he did was he also stole his arm.
Oh, hey, maybe.
Because we've seen on Thriller Bark when Franky wants to build something like the bridge, it's boom, 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 boom. He just built it. So like he could have saw Cincinnati's arm and been like, I like that. Let me get that. And he just builds up his arm in the middle of the fight. Franky is capable of that, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, the only caveat is that, the strong, impactful right we see his regular arm, but I like the mindset. I like the mindset.
Wait, did Cincinnati have like impact in his fight, in his punch name?
No. It was Thunder something,
crazy.
I think. Yeah.
Because that would be crazy if Franky like took his move too and he incorporated it. He's like, oh, if you add jets to it, it's now impactful. Like,
oh my god, that'd be insane.
Yeah.
But
it's good times though.
Oh yeah. But so Bonney using giant Nika punch is kind of funny to me. Because it's like, Luffy has like all these unique names for his attacks, like Red Rock, Bajrang Gun, Elephant Gun, King Kong Gun, Organ Gun. Bonnie's just like, yo, I'm punching. Just Nika punch.
Yeah.
I think this shows just that Bonney has a lot of room to grow. And then plus by the end of this chapter, we see that Bonney, after one attack, she's done. I mean, we talked about this. We talked about this last week, right? Like every time she uses an attack in a distorted future, doesn't have to be Nika mode. Literally, Buccaneer mode. Giant form. Nika mode in her flashback. She's always done.
She says in the giant form, like, this can't last too long. Like the regular giant form, she says something along the lines like, I can't maintain this. So like the Nika form, like we already suspected the case, but then by the end of the chapter, we see that this took this took her out of commission essentially. And it's funny because Oda broke the fourth wall with Luffy. Like it's always funny. It's like, where did Luffy learn Bajrang? Like what what temple did he go to learn this? But we see in the Kuma flashback, he actually took the time to name his attacks. And he's like, oh, this is gonna be my first final move, the axe kick. And it's like, yo, Luffy put in like half the work was getting the move, but the other part was naming it.
Yeah, like where do you think he just reads it in a book and Luffy's like, that's what I'm gonna name it? That's a cool animal.
I think Luffy is original. Like Luffy is a genius. Like he's like the mangaka who never read a manga and then he comes out with a hit. Like Luffy
just come up with these random names.
Yeah, because like Luffy, other people like Mihawk and Shanks and
that all tie to real
Roger,
world things.
They've been fighting people. If divine departure, you fought other people that with it. Luffy was out there showing off the monkeys, bro, like and tigers. Like he had the monkey wasn't like hitting him with the axe kick or anything like that. Luffy was out here destroying forests and just coming up with names, right? So like Luffy's original. Straight up.
Yeah.
It was all him.
Okay. Jokes aside, it's not like super impressive, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, okay, like I think he did a gum axe back then. It's like, okay, he knows what an axe is. Okay, all right, cool. But
yeah. But like, I'm saying he's writing his own. He's writing his own name. Kind of like how Oda forgets about moves names. So in order to fix that, he checks the One Piece wiki, trying to remember what the names were. Like I think he said that, right?
He said that.
Yeah. So that's Luffy doesn't need to do that. He just comes up with the top of his head, whatever feels good.
Yeah, he just makes noises.
Buddhists,
I'm even dialing back. Maybe he's not smart. Maybe he's just making noises with his mouth. Gum, like, attack.
And then
that's it.
Like Usopp in Dressrosa, where he was just like mumbling, and then giants are like, "You want us to save your life? Oh my God, he's from heaven, guys."
Yeah, imagine that's how the Bajrang gun is. Like somebody's like, "Yo, Luffy, do the Bajrang gun." He's like, Bajrang gun? You mean the gum big ball attack? Like I didn't say Bajrang. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was going.
He was like, I was releasing all my stamina to fight Kaido. What do you mean Bajrang? I was just shouting. Also, I went back to the chapter where Cincinnati got defeated by Franky. So Franky uses a regular strong right. He kind of put emphasis on the strong. He said strong right. Cincinnati uses an attack called Steam Ring Dinger, is what he'd used. And then Franky destroyed his arm and his hand. What?
Steam Ring Dinger.
Yeah, that's an old... I haven't heard somebody say Ring Dinger in a long time. So yeah, Steam Ring Dinger, and then strong right. And then Bonney Bonney just kicked him. Bonney touched him with the devil fruit and then kicked the vice admiral, and he was done. So yeah, it's the VA's got done dirty by these guys, man.
The thing people need to remember is Bonnie's the youngest supernova.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah, Bonney is the youngest supernova.
She's a genius among geniuses.
And let me tell you right now, people put her below like Law and Kid, and I think I would too. Fair enough. Stamina wise, just battle
she's
prowess.
12.
Yeah, she's 12. But you gotta remember this still puts her above like characters like Hawkins. Apoo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like people need to recognize this is the equivalent of like Goa Kingdom, Luffy and Ace being supernovas. Like when Ace leaves, like they're dreaming, they're up on that cliff. That Bonnie's right now like that age basically.
Yeah.
They were like Luffy was 8 and like Ace and them were like 10 or something, right? Or 12. Right, Bonnie's that age, and she's at the top of the verse right
300
now.
million berry bounty. What? So Robin was impressive because Robin was 8 years old and had an 80 million. My God, Bonnie's 12 and has 300 million. And Robin just passed that just recently.
Goodness gracious. If Rayleigh and Boa, like Rayleigh and Boa, if they saw Bonney using Haki, put Bonney on Ruskaino with Rayleigh's training Bonney. Rayleigh's like, yo, she knows Haki before you, Luffy.
And then the imagination stuff too with Nika. Oh my God, Rayleigh would have fun with this.
Yeah, Rayleigh be like, all right, Luffy, we don't need you anymore. Like, Shanks might even do the same thing. He might be like, yo, Kuma's kid's way better. Like,
and then there's, funny you bring up Shanks, because there's a whole thing where, like, Bonney in the SBS, turned into a male and aged up. Kind of looks like Shanks with pink hair. So it's like, yo, like, maybe there's some celestial dragon ties there even, the kindred spirit.
That's hey, listen, Bonney could be a Garland.
Oh yeah, easily. She could easily be a Garland. Because what Saturn was like, yeah, like Ginny was the wife of like the one of the noblemen of the celestial dragon, something like that.
Yeah, and it could be
it could easily be Garlands. That is like one of the prominent families there.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 19 family names probably, so for Garland's...
if I was drawing a version of Bonney that looks like Shanks, it's like,
yeah,
all right, the two Garlands that we know just look like
literally
Shanks.
There was already a 1 in 19 chance that she could be a Garland. You add into the fact that Oda drew her like if a Garland like Shanks, it's like, okay, that 1 in 19 chance is looking pretty good right now, you know what I mean? It's like what is it like? It's like your kid handing you like a bottle of alcohol, and then his face is glowing gold. You just want to smack him now. Okay, that's so awful. I saw a meme about that. I swear to God, I'm not an abuser, but yeah. I just love like dark humor.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. I would never recommend it, never do it. But let me tell you, that was pretty funny when I saw it.
Yeah. YouTube, don't hurt us. Like.
Oh man. But yes. So Franky, strong impact, steam ring dinger. Franky should add in the steam ring dinger into his arsenal.
Yeah. Those are the moves that we need from Franky. He's like his whole thing. We don't need like normal move names. He's literally like the hentai guy, right? Like he's the
oh my God, the steam ring dinger would go so hard. Or strong ring dinger.
Yeah, strong ring dinger. Ooh.
Yeah, just boom. And then the ring. You guys gotta remember, like the ring digger is like a cartoon-esque name as well. Because you call it a ring dinger because you hit them in the head and then their head starts spinning. It starts ringing. That's not bad, dude. That could be a Gear 5th attack. Dawn ring dinger.
Luffy,
oh man, that's Tom and Jerry. That's literally Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, we need him to meet Cincinnati so we can incorporate that move. He hits Emu with the Gomu ring dinger, and then it's just like the whole world just starts belling, and then you hear the drums of liberation off of it.
Yeah, Captain Kuro, he starts like getting PTSD. He's like, oh, I'm glad it's just got. Oh yeah, he used Gum Gum Bell on Captain Kuro. Dude, the ring dinger would go even crazy. Ringing that bell? Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when Luffy headbutts someone, they have the ring dinger.
Yeah, dude. I think if we were to put money on Luffy's newest attack, it's got to be the ring dinger.
Yeah, the Gomu version of the bell is the ring dinger. It has to be.
Yeah. He doesn't say. Yeah. He used booming now. Booming dawn. So booming dawn ring. That goes hard. Booming dawn ring dinger.
I don't know if hard is the word I would use here, but like it does something
tough,
to me.
Dude. Okay. Would you rather? Okay, imagine this, right? A good friend of yours, you've known the guy for 25 years, grew up with him. He walks up to you and he says, "Hey, Par, I was at the club yesterday and somebody hit me with the right hook." Would you feel more sad for them or like, sympathetic towards them because of the damage they took if they said they took a right hook from somebody at the club, or if they got hit with a really hard ring dinger?
If they came home and said, "Yo, I got hit with the ring dinger," I would be laughing for a month, dude. Like straight up, I would have to be institutionalized for laughing.
And then, but you also look at them and they have like a full on like neck cast on. They're like like a neck brace and like
yeah, I would be in the hospital
dinger.
with them.
It was the ring dinger.
I would be in the hospital with them from laughing so hard.
You'd be in the next room.
Like they would be in pain and like they would want sympathy for me. I'm like, "Bro, you got hit with the ring dinger. That's crazy." Oh
yeah,
god,
that's good. The ring dinger, man. Hey yo, buy your ring. I might make that shirt. So I'm in the process of making some One Piece, not One Piece because that's copyright, of course. I'm in the process of making some merch that is based off of things I like, loosely based off of things I like. Right now, I have like a whole agenda shirt line cooking right now, which is gonna be pretty cool. But I might do the ring dinger, bro.
If Sai ever says he's making merch off of One Piece, he means Juan Piece.
Like, yeah, Juan, my good friend Juan.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Juan. But yeah, dude, like maybe you guys will see the Dawn ring dinger shirt come up pretty soon.
Yo, I can't wait for it. I
might think about that actually. So
that's a good one.
Let me see here. What else do we got? Marcus Mars, Giants. The Giants are putting out fires. It's kind of funny. What's up?
No, that's fine. I said what I need to say. And then
did you say Haki?
No, I just there's a specific part of Luffy that he hockeyed up that confirmed a long-standing theory about Doflamingo that I just wanted to address. The people, there's a few people that know what I'm talking about in the comments.
Yeah, okay. So to touch on Par for a second, not touch him, but like to touch on the topic. So Par brought this up before about how characters like Doflamingo has armament hockey on his butt. I know it sounds absurd. Hear us out for a second. I will explain this in the best way possible because Par does a horrible job at it. He explains it. He explains it in a way where you want to put him on a list. But this theory spawned all the way back on Punk Hazard because Doflamingo beat Smoker, which confirmed, that was armament hockey because Smoker is a Logia. But there's a certain scene where Doflamingo has his fingers up. He's ready to kill Smoker, and he's also sitting on Smoker. Why is Doflamingo not phasing through Smoker? Because he's a Logia. Well, Par is suggesting, and the community has talked about this before in a meme, but they're suggesting that Doflamingo used armament hockey on his bottom so that he can actually sit on top of Smoker and, do the menacing pose that he does. Is it something I subscribe to? Not exactly. I think Smoker was just too tapped out to actually use the Logia. I don't think Doflamingo has to have hockey there, but Par is referencing Luffy again. And that Doflamingo scene because Luffy in this panel where he's taking these attacks has armament hockey on his backside. So that is the best, most PG way to describe what you're talking about. And yeah, Luffy using hockey back there, it makes sense, right? I mean, like Sanji, Bonney, Franky, they're going in. And, going to a topic that is more relevant.
Well, even if you don't subscribe to the idea, make sure you subscribe to this channel.
Make sure you subscribe to us in Parvision. But Luffy says, "Hey, one of you guys are, you guys are using hockey. This hurts a lot." And now people are wondering if this confirms that Franky has hockey, if Bonney has hockey, or if this is just all Sanji. I feel like Sanji's a dead giveaway. I think he definitely 100% has hockey here. Of course, it's Ifu Jambe. He talked about that during the Queen fight. It's a combination of genetics, speed, and hockey. Done. As far as Franky and Bonney goes, we see that Bonnie's fist is blackened. I'm wanting to believe it's hockey. It looks like it just is only missing the lightning, which I think is kind of odd. Oda draws black lightning everywhere. Every single hockey attack is black lightning now, except for this attack for some reason. So it's whatever. But as far as Franky goes, I don't think he has it personally. Not just because the whale, he's a cyborg, it doesn't make sense. I think more so it just shows how strong Franky is without it. I mean, a lot of the Straw Hats don't have hockey or have not shown it yet. But they've managed to keep up with the new world based on their own unique fighting styles. And, you know, just showing that Haki is in everything at the very end of the chapter, the Iron Robot smacks Warkity. No Haki. Like, so Franky honestly doesn't need it. If he has it, that's cool. But is it 100% necessary for him? I don't think so. But now,
also, we know
passing
that,
the mic.
We know that by Luffy's standard, by Punk Hazard, which confirms that during the time skip, Franky had no person to teach him Haki, which would be crazy, right? If Franky learned Haki during the time skip without, like, Luffy needed Rayleigh, Zoro Mihawk, Ivankov Sanji, Franky Vega Punk paperwork and explosions.
Vega Punk like, paper robot animals, like, okay.
Yeah, and Luffy confirmed to Law that the only people that know Haki on his crew is Zoro, Sanji, and himself. And Law. So, like, Luffy straight up said that canonically to Law. When Law asked, like, who has Haki? Luffy says, these are the people that have Haki.
That's when they were fighting Caesar, right?
Yeah.
Because he was a Logia, yeah.
And that's also where Franky was like, Luffy must be using the thing called armament Haki. And so it's like he kind of set himself aside in that scope. Which is, like, you know, interesting for a bunch of things. But, yeah, comes back here. As far as, like, do I think that he has Haki? I'm not like, could he have Haki? Yeah, I think so. In this moment, does he have it? I can't really tell. As far as what I voted for and all the polls that I saw where people were like, does Franky have Haki? I just put yes. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's
like,
not bad one way or another.
Yeah, like, people are acting like that's where I draw the line, right? People are like, it would be bad if Franky has Haki, or it'd be bad if he doesn't have Haki. I'm like, to me, it doesn't really matter.
You can spin it anyway.
Like, yeah, if he has Haki, it doesn't ruin the story. If he does have Haki, it doesn't ruin the story. Like, neither way is bad. And, like, I don't see why Oda would even need to, like, realistically, like, just give him Sea Stone Fist. Just give him Wapol Metal.
Yeah,
just give
easy.
him something, like, yeah, like, there's, like, just put mini blades on the back of Luffy, and, like, Franky's just cutting him up, like, I don't know, like,
yeah,
like, it could be something as goofy as that, right? But we also seen that Franky can use energy swords. So it's like I'm sure that would hurt Luffy, no? Like an energy blade?
Yeah,
like,
energy blades, radical beam. And then we saw that, like, Vegapunk, for example, we never got it, like, you know, in the story where it's being used, but, you know, Vegapunk was like, hey, like, here's light catching gloves, which people are saying that it could catch Kizaru because he's light. And it's like, yeah, like, technology really can bridge the gap that Haki does. Like, it's easy. So, yeah, Franky doesn't need Haki. Does he have it? Good. Or if he has it, good. If he doesn't have it, good too. You know, like, it's very whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and we've seen, actually, that bridge exactly what you're saying with, like, observation Haki, right? Observation Haki and armaments, like, we've seen technology, like, bridge the gap, but, like, specifically with Kuma in his backstory, when he was, like, listening in on Vegapunk's conversation, it's like you could like, without context, you'd be like, oh, like, he has really sent, like, Mihawk, like, he can sense, like, across the world. This is insane. And then Kuma's like, no, it's just a superhuman hearing that you gave me. Like, and then on top of that, instead of, like, sensing people, he has, like, he has Chat GPT in his brain telling him who people are and, like, what bounty they have. That's, like, observation Haki too. Like, his brain tells them everybody's name, power, like, all that stuff. So it's like,
and then, dude, Kuma's essentially a Vivier card for Bonney too, because the minute Bonney was in trouble, he rushed off over here. You know, he's the updated technological Vivier card.
He's Google Maps.
Yeah, he's Google Maps,
crazy.
Man.
Yeah.
Technology is it's powerful. And then we gotta remember the reason. I mean, well, we don't know the actual reason, but, you know, the ancient kingdom, they were all about technology. So I'd be damned if, you know, like, technology isn't that crazy.
And apparently, Joy Boy was born from that.
Yeah,
so, like,
he was a part of that kingdom, dude. The kingdom of technology that had better technology than Vegapunk.
Yeah. So,
yeah, crazy stuff.
He doesn't need it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's like, the way we're spinning it right now, it's like almost like Franky might have access to, like, crazier stuff as long as he's, like, taps into the ancient kingdom technology.
And then another popular theory is that he's gonna get green blood. And if he does, brother, like, it's a devil. Like, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Like, for people who worry about Franky and his stocks, I really don't think you should. It's like worrying about Zoro or Luffy or Sanji stocks. It's like, okay, you're really worried about Franky here. Like, for all the Straw Hats, I feel like their stocks are always going to be in the positive. No matter what happens to them, they're always going to get a glow up.
It's like
that's just how it is.
Nvidia stocks. It's like investing in Nvidia.
It's like hearing that the rise of AI and, you know, gamers on computers and Bitcoin and whatever. It's like betting on Nvidia. Like, yeah, they're gonna win, of course. Like, yeah, they're number one.
Yeah. And you might not have heard Nvidia, but yeah, now they're the second most valuable company in the world behind Apple or whatever.
And they really just
Amazon.
make GPUs and technological advancements. That's
They
all
do
it is.
nothing else. Where it's like Apple and Amazon are making credit cards and doing like healthcare stuff now, or flying into space, and Nvidia's just like computer chip
overtaking
collecting.
Tesla and everything. It's like, guys, come on. Technology's insane.
Yeah.
So they use this attack, and I thought it was kind of silly. You know, they attack Luffy in one area, and then he shoots out all of their abilities plus his extra oomph on the other end.
Yeah.
And he sends Mars flying away. He blasts off like Team Rocket, and Luffy says it won't be back anytime soon.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, dude. Do you think Marcus Mars will come back, or do you think it'll be too late?
He has means to come back, like logically, like there's more than enough means for it. But like narratively, I feel like he should just. I feel like it's kind of better for him to not come back, like in a way where it's like, if he doesn't come back for a little bit and it's like too late or whatever, he won't be disrespected by the plot that like the Straw Hats have.
How about this? How about he comes back later after the Straw Hats are gone, but he comes back solely to help fight the ancient robot. So it's a 5v1.
We need to see more. Like the end of this chapter gives me hope for the ancient giant. Like I'm excited. I'm waiting to see the ancient giant smack down the Gorosei like the stone Hashira and the demon before he became a Hashira, just pounding until they like are just like put into submission, right? But like, can the Iron Giant put all 5 of them into submission? That would be disrespectful. That's why I'm saying, like, I prefer it if he just stays away and he doesn't come back and he's not put in that scenario where he's beat
But it
down
would
by
almost look worse if he doesn't come back, though.
Like, the thing is, he's also a bird, so it's like,
he can fly. He can fly.
Like, he should be in the sky blowing down fire on the ancient giant. Ancient giant should never touch him.
And
right? That's how it should happen.
Oh yeah, easily. Just shoot beams at him from above and that's it. But here's the thing too. People are saying that Mars could just teleport back. And here's the thing. You know how embarrassing it would be to call up the homeboys and say, hey guys, I'm not on the island anymore. Can you summon me back in? Like, because you gotta remember, this isn't, people think it's like instant transmission from Dragon Ball where you just like boom, boom, boom. Like, yeah, it's like you teleport or you use a summoning scroll from Naruto and you're just here. Summoning scroll is actually pretty good. It's literally like a summoning scroll. Like somebody has to touch the ground and bring you over. Like, it's not like you could just go wherever you want immediately. Somebody has to bring you over. So it's like, dude, he has to call up Saturn or Warkody and say, hey, boys, can you open the door? I need to come back. Like, that's more embarrassing.
Like, what Sai is saying, I was memeing about this on stream yesterday, but, like, I didn't say instant transmission. I was straight up memeing, like, the summoning jutsu, go! And it's like, the irony, though, is that Saturn did depict this. Like, the rest of the Gorosei were across the planet and they got summoned. Saturn was a leap away from the island and he still used the summoning jutsu, and we've seen that they're capable of not needing it. Nusser Drew jumped to the sky and sliced it. That shows that Saturn did not need to use the summoning jutsu. He just did that to flex. If he's gonna use that summoning jutsu to move like a ship away to the island, then yeah, I'm fine with him just going, summoning jutsu, come back Mars, we gotta kick up the legendary Iron Giant, especially if the legendary Iron Giant gives them this much resistance, where it's like, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know how much resistance the Iron Giant have. Can they recover from his attacks? But like, if we're considering that the Iron Giant is like actually nonchalant about the Gorosei, he got tackled by him, and to him, he just got tripped into the ocean, and he just got up and straight up sucker punched him, and the worker's like, "Ow, this hurts" or whatever. If they're struggling, they use summoning. Please, it would be so dumb if you didn't.
But here's the thing, though. Like, they're not that far. Like, Saturn's here. You know, Jupiter's already on the coast. Mars can fly. Like, I think they're all so within close vicinity that they don't need a summon. They're fine. They're fine.
But that's the thing. Saturn depicted that the proximity doesn't matter. They can just use it.
Saturn wanted an entrance.
Like, you can't tell me that, like, you can't be. So yesterday you were saying, like, what if the summoning thing is so, like, you can only use it once every arc or something crazy?
Yeah, I'm trying to give it some stipulations here.
And then Saturn's your biggest reason to not think that, because then if you waste it for an entrance,
okay,
then it's like,
but here's the thing. He used it for an entrance because he thought he was the end all be all. He didn't use it again. He brought in the other boys.
It's worse for him.
So they use their 24-hour cooldown with the summoning. They don't have to summon again. They're all right here.
The only reason why, if Mars can come back on his own right? The difference is, if Mars can come back on his own right, fine. If he can't and he doesn't ask to get summoned again, that's a problem.
Okay.
The reason why
yes, that's a problem.
If he can come back on his own right, that's better, because then Kuma's entrance was better than Saturn's. Kuma came in like a comet, dude, and they were like,
no,
he landed like a missile, and everyone's like, what the heck? And then the aura of Kuma running across the island across 20,000 soldiers. And then everyone's like, what is that? And then he just bodied everyone and smacked Saturn down. If Mars comes back like a flying phoenix bird, lands on the island goes up in flames, runs up and punches him, cool. But if he never comes back because he can't fly there and he never asks to get teleported, that's terrible.
Okay. I agree. I agree with that last part. But I'm not going to agree that Kuma's entrance was better than Saturn. Without knowing that, knowing Saturn's strength, would you rather crash on an island like a meteor, or would you rather come out of a demonic summoning circle? Paul, I know which one I'm picking.
Yeah, but Sai, I'm saying Kuma's is better with your stipulation if he wasted one art, like if he can't use.
Okay, but it's all about appearance, Par. Like, yeah, Saturn could have just transformed on the ship and jumped off, but it's legit, dude. It's all about aura. Jinbei literally said, "Oh my god, like what is that dastardly aura?" Like,
and what did it lead to? He got memed on by everyone. Okay, I want to give you guys the exact comparison Sai did on stream. It's for those of you guys who played League of Legends. Sai goes, what if it's like teleport? But with teleport, you can use it every 5 minutes, sometimes shorter. Sai goes, no, what if this teleport is only once a game? Bro, if it's once a game and my teammate uses teleport from 5 feet away, which is what Saturn did, I would rage quit. I would report him for griefing. Like,
okay, wait. You have to take this into context as well. When Saturn used his teleport, that was the chapter where he was right. It ended off with him right in front of Vega Punk. He teleported to the objective.
And Sai, okay. Now to go back to League, my teammate from 5 feet away teleports. He teleports it and gets memed on by everybody.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. We don't know. Like I said, you have to erase everything Saturn does. Entrance alone, and utility. I think Saturn used it in a really good way. He teleport. Okay. You use your once a game teleport. You're faker. You teleport to the Nexus. You're about to front door them, but you end up dying because people beat you. Do you blame him for using teleport? You don't, because it's like, he had the vision. He was trying to destroy Vega Punk. He was right there. And let me tell you, Par. Let me tell you this as well. Vega Punk never left his sights. He never left his sights.
If you
Saturn, because of this teleport, ended up stabbing Vega Punk, fighting all these guys. Saturn actually was in the same spot for 20 plus chapters. That is how pivotal this teleportation was. It feels like I'm in the presidential debates. I am fighting tooth and nail for my man Saturn.
Bro, and the funnier part is the rebuttal is Vega Punk wanted to die. Like,
no, he didn't. Nobody wants to die, Par.
And the thing is, Saturn teleported in, and he didn't even take credit for killing him. He said, "Because Aru did it." He didn't even take credit. He was so afraid.
But you gotta remember this. He uses eye powers that keep Vega Punk here. You can't forget that. I'm trying to defend Saturn's teleportation. Saturn's teleportation was great.
No. This is
good
crazy.
entrance.
I love the League of Legends analogy. he TPs in, he teleports in, and the first thing he does is he kills his own teammates. He blows them up for looking at him.
Not my fault.
Don't look
they
at me.
they entered that fight.
Like,
Literally, you
stealing my
had
farm.
announcers say to not look at Saturn. They looked at Saturn, brother. What am I gonna have to do? Baby you on the next thing? Like, oh guys, hey, don't eat razor blades. It's like, and then they eat razor blades. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing? Don't look at Saturn.
The analogy,
of course, they got their heads blown off.
You teleported to my lane, and then you stole my farm, and then entered my lane. And then you're coping with it, bro. The TP was good. Don't worry about the stuff after.
Hey, report top lane. He's done. He's cooked. Report him, boys. 9x. Report him.
In all my years of League of Legends, I haven't experienced something that crazy, and that's what Saturn did. He just defeated, killed his own
Saturn.
team.
I would love. You know what, Par? It's in the court of public opinion, guys. You know what to do. Who do you think Saturn's teleportation was wasted at the beginning of this arc? You don't even bring up like everything he's done.
If he can never use it again for like a long period of time, it's a waste.
It is not a waste. Where else would he teleport?
He didn't need to.
So what is he gonna do? Just keep it in the back pocket? No. You might as well blow it in the beginning.
Yeah, why would he waste it when he can? He literally showed that within a chapter he could make it to the sky without the teleport. You're telling me he made it farther than originally without the TP,
Okay.
and then on top of that, he went on top and
Par,
he ran
I
through
think
the
at
straw
this
hats.
point, you wouldn't last in the WWE, brother. Because you know why? You would have like little, sponsors and musicians come up to you. Par. What kind of intro song do you want? What kind of entrance do you want? Fireworks? And then you're gonna be like, no, let's just walk. You're gonna walk on a straight line and that's it. But me, brother, me and everybody else, music, fireworks. Just school buses filled with prostitutes. Everything. I have the whole world.
If your aura's backed up with dog water, like
no,
yeah.
No, but here's the thing: even if you lose the fight, you still came in with an aura. People are gonna remember that entrance. We're gonna remember Saturn's entrance. It's that simple.
Losing miserably.
The entrance is all that matters. Like I said, we can't bring in Saturn not looking great. He came in with aura. That's all that matters. It is all about perception, and let me tell you, those Marines, they love the Gorosei. They love these dudes.
It's all about perception, yeah. Where the Marines are like, oh my God landed, and then proceeded. They were like, oh my God, is he dead? They kept on looking at him again, punched across the island. They're like, they hit a god. Oh wait, they hit him
recovered.
Again and again.
Saturn recovers, guys. He recovers. He's fine. He's fine.
We're like. The Marines are like, they're untouchable, and then they proceed to watch them get touched.
No. Okay, I got it. I can't wait to see some comments for this one, guys. Did Saturn waste his teleport on the island? Yes or no? I think the entrance was worth it.
I can't wait for the anime because the anime is going to make like everything you said is 100% right. When Saturn loads up on the island, everyone's gonna go insane. It's gonna be the craziest aura. Everyone's gonna compare to JJK, Sukuna, Aizen. They're gonna be like, this is the baddest aura and the enemy get. And then for the next entire year, the anime is gonna proceed to attack Saturn getting walked every single time. And it's gonna end up being the most.
You know what it's gonna be?
It's
gonna be the Saturn love, like how they love S-Hawk. They're giving him all these extra scenes. Saturn is going to get extra scenes as well. He's going to look great. He's going to look beautiful.
You're saying that I'm right. You know that the internet's gonna meme on Saturn.
No. I refuse to acknowledge this. Saturn slander? No, dude, that's my favorite planet.
And the other part is, a lot of the times, like the One Piece community will come up in arms and defend like a certain thing or whatever. There's not gonna be people out there defending Saturn, like unless like the Boruto people come out. Like we're gonna be like defending Saturn.
Not the Boruto
like
slander.
Like,
I started Boruto. I started watching it. Let me tell you, #1 anime, guys. All right, so moving moving on though. So goodbye Mars. Will he teleport back or not? Well, Par thinks that's a waste. So we go down a little bit and we see that Atlas is going to go check on Nami's group. But we also see that deep down in her inner thoughts, she's talking to Lilith and talking about how York is monitoring them. So Atlas could be going to check on Nami's group, but it looks like she also has a secondary plan in mind, or, an ulterior motive, so to say. What do you think Atlas and Lilith are going to do? Do you think they are going to beat down York? Do you think they're going to remove their tracking chips? Or do you think they're going to stay on the island to, have the Gorosei not follow the Straw Hats, which I think is kind of silly. I mean, they're on a giant ship. They're talking about going to Elbaf. I think they're going to Elbaf. You know what I mean? So I don't think they need a tracking device per se. But either way, though, you still don't want the, Big Brother watching. So what do you think Atlas and York are going to be up to? Do you think they're going to teleport to York, or do you think they're going to just walk over to her?
I honestly don't really know Atlas, Lilith, because this kind of took me through like a left turn, because I was like, Atlas shouldn't be going up there because Sanji can do it, and he's way more competent in getting there and back. He can fly, and Atlas can fly too, but Sanji's the fastest and the strongest person present aside from Luffy and Bonney. And now that Luffy is gear 5'd up, nobody needs to be there. Luffy can defend everything now, and he also Bonnie's there, and she's out of commission, whatever. But Sanji going up made way more sense. But like you said, Atlas going up means that there's some kind of ulterior motive, and something that did cross my mind, I didn't mention it earlier, and the reason I didn't mention it was because I don't know if I like it, because I feel like it makes more sense that the Vega Punk at least one goes with the Straw Hats to Elbaf. But there is a world where Atlas, Lilith, and Stussy end up grouping up because they're they're Vegapunks, and they have the knowledge that Vegapunk had, where kind of Vegapunk was trying to rehab Stussy's mentality of being human in the world, and Edison was just doing that too. And so as far as Stussy being alone, maybe it makes sense to have Atlas and Lilith at her side for the thing, and then they end up meeting with Neo-Mads, or the Rock stuff. It could be something like that. I'm not, again, I don't know. We talked at length about the Stussy stuff, and I didn't bring it up because it's kind of weird. Because then
I don't know if I like it.
The Vegapunks for Stussy, whereas the Vegapunks are more important. No offense. So they should stay with the Straw Hats to a certain extent. The Vegapunks would be valuable for Bonney as well. So there's a whole slew of things that would make sense for the Vegapunks to stay, but I'm not too sure about what their ulterior motive is. Because other than the tracking chips, the main thing to do is just disconnect from Punk Records, and apparently it's not that hard, right? You just the reception.
Disconnect with Punk Records, so maybe they go up to the brain and lobotomize it. Maybe they just get rid of York, though. I feel like York is a weird one, because I do want the government to get their hands on York so that there's still a threat, right? Because let's say York dies. Let's say Atlas and Lilith beat York to death and York is gone. That would be a major blow, because they wouldn't be able to use Uranus anymore. They wouldn't really... They'd still be a threat, don't get me wrong, but without Uranus, they can't sink the world. So I feel like they need the Mother Flame. They need York. So they really cannot lose her. I don't think, for story's sake, I don't think they can lose her.
Kind of with Vegapunk's apology, low key. The thing is, they could have killed York at any time.
Oh yeah,
they had York at literally gunpoint, sword point, technically, and it's the Straw Hats don't kill anybody. But Vegapunk, yo, she's the defector. None of your other ones are gonna give them the information. York is trying to leverage the ability to destroy the planet. Technically, all you have to do is just kill York. Even if they get the Mother Flame, even if they can use it one more time. But with York, they can use it hundreds of more times, right? So it's if Vegapunk could have just killed York to stem a lot of the pain, obviously that's not the end all. There's obviously other ways that they could get the information, which is why the story doesn't follow it. But right now, it's not reflecting that. Right now, it's York is the way that the world government gets everything. Even that they are yo, we need York because she will be able to recreate it. So the story is giving her that weight, and it's weird because like Vegapunk didn't give her that weight. Vegapunk was okay with dying, but not like killing York, which is like, I guess it's like, yeah, they're separate people, so they don't carry the sin. But like York, like Vegapunk carried the weight of destroying Leloucia, but it really wasn't him. York is the one who stole it and gave it. So it's like he created the thing, but York is the one who did that. So like, is that not like if he's valuing himself to die and York is in himself and she's the one who gave it, like technically York deserves the same sentence you have. So it's weird because like you said, like it struck a weird chord when you said like Atlas and Lilith beat her to death, because that sounded not One Piece at all. But like I'm like, yeah, like I feel like they should, like, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
she should just be dead right now.
You know, the loss of Leloucia isn't a great one. We got to get Leloucia. I mean, who really cared about the place? But
everything that I said, that's how you're gonna open up.
outside of that though, yeah, beating York is a weird one. How about this? I could see Lilith and Atlas beating York so that York can't track them for the foreseeable future. But, you know, like my main qualm was that, hey, like the world government kind of needs her. Like she's pivotal. What if they beat York, but Saturn brings her back to life by using the artificial organs on the island? Because we talked about that earlier, like the artificial organs need to come back at some point. Is it for Vega Punk? Is it for somebody else? Well, what if it's for York? What if they're like, oh, like York is gonna die, we need her, Saturn do something, and then Saturn, being one of the smartest characters in the series, he actually cooks up a new body for York or like repairs her.
Nah,
I think that'd be pretty solid. Because we did that for
me
Atlas.
off.
Atlas was repaired. York, I think, could be repaired as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, listen, the only reason I like this idea, and I won't say anything else, is that give Saturn some W's, bro. Hey, if he can use those organs to revive York, oh my god, I want that.
We need Saturn on the crew. Yeah.
Yeah, like if what instead of
kidding.
Yo, like, can Saturn save Wano from the devil fruit thing, like the smile fruits?
Oh,
like, I don't
easily.
know, is he chopper
I think
level,
so.
or...
Yeah. No, I think Saturn could do it. I mean, Saturn's expertise, we can't undersell it. You know, I realized this whole chapter, for some reason, I'm playing defense for Saturn. Like, I'm defending this man so hard. Just tooth and nail, man. It's like he's paying my bills or something.
The thing is, like, I realistically, like, in the long run, hope that Oda listens to you. He listens to me in the slander part, but in this chapter, like, because the thing is, we know Oda's listening. We know there's a fact in this chapter that we're like, wait a second, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Either me and you are like Madame Charlie and seeing the future, or Oda's editor, because like this panel that showed up is it next? I think it's next,
I think
right?
it's the next page. We're almost there.
On the next. It is one of the oddest panels in this whole progression. It's the most detached thing in the story, and like we literally said it last week, it almost feels like someone was listening and they just inserted it for fun, because we were like, oh, you know what'd be the coolest thing? Aimon was in the chapter next week. Oh my god. But yeah, like, as far as, you know, going back to the York thing, she's always been an odd variable in Egghead, because it's like her competence level has been in question. The satellite's competence level has always been in question, but also the competence as far as like what their relation to Punk Records is. What happens when Stella dies? It seems like it's all theoretical still, even to the Gorosei. They're like, it seems like the brain still keeps going even though Stella dies. That means that the satellites are still useful. So we don't even know the capacity to which the satellites can maintain themselves. All this is like theoretical to them.
Yeah.
So like, they're in like York, Lilith, Atlas. They're a wild card that I'm not even too sure where I put them at. Like, I don't even know what Atlas means to do up there. I don't know what Lilith means to do. I don't know what York means to do. So I'm excited to see what Oda plays with the rest of the Vega Punks, because he can do a lot and he can do a little, and like I feel like it doesn't make sense for him to do too little because they're Vega Punks.
That was a good line.
Mm-hmm.
What I was gonna say, the reason why you mentioned this earlier, the reason why I don't want Atlas and Lilith to be with Stussy is because I think Stussy had the perfect goodbye, right? She was like, "Hey, Edison, like, what am I?" And then Edison's like, "Hey, like, you're human, you know, never forget that." I feel like by having the Vegapunks here with Stussy afterwards, I wouldn't say it would negate, but I think it would like stunt her growth to a certain extent. I feel like she would just rely back to them, right? Everything she does, like, hey, Vegapunks, what about this? You know, I feel like Stussy needs to go with other humans and just kind of do what she wants. So that's one reason why I don't like the Vegapunks with her. Could it happen? Yeah, it could totally happen, but I think she's better off alone or with somebody else.
The other part of it, though, is that, like, again, I'm not too supportive of this idea, but as far as discussing the narrative, it might be valuable for Stussy to be with the satellites because they're in a similar boat, where they're clones of Vegapunk, and now they're without the main body. Yeah. So now they have to operate as if, like, are we people? But they're already confident in themselves, and they're already, like Stussy would be like, how do you got, like, you guys lost Stella too. Like, you're just clones of him. You're less than me. And it's like, no, we're our own people. We're life. That's what life is about. And like, there could be a sentience thing that like could be discussed with these people in line with the Seraphim, in line with Stussy's predicament. Whereas like in reality, Stussy's like the most sentient amongst all of them in the scope of like she's not. I guess she's a clone of Bakken's, but like the Seraphim are like chimeras. Like, I mean, like, are they human? Like, King doesn't even know what he is, right? Like, he's like, I'm a god. Like, but like, I'm also like, he's in a weird boat. He's wearing a gimp suit. I don't know if he cares about his identity or not cares about his identity, but like, the identification of who he is difficult because he like became subservient to Kaido, gave up his life. And then the Vegapunks, it's like they're literally like Vegapunk thought up of them because he's like, I need more arms. I need more people to. I have so many ideas. I need more people on board. Which is like Stussy was created kind of independent of everything. Seraphims were made as a weapon. Satellites were made as tools. Stussy wasn't made like in that. As far as what we know, she was just the first successful experiment. So it's like, you know, it could be that we put all of those characters in a bucket and they travel off, but like I said before, I don't really care one way or the other. I'm just excited to see where Stussy goes from here because I think it's going to be exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I still think it would be better for her to just go off on her own. But like I said, it's not a bad idea. But if I had to, like, you know, if you put a gun to my head, you know, you held my family hostage and I have to pick one, I'd probably pick Stussy going off and doing something else.
Yeah.
As far as Atlas and Lilith goes, I am in the same boat as you. I do think it would be really weird if we do not leave with a single Vegapunk. I feel like we need at least one of them. I guess we have this Stella body, and, you know, we have our own little theories about him, and some people I've talked to, they also think that he might come back to life because we do have his body. He's in this weird limbo realm. And the way I look at it, too, because this happens next. Well, I'll go and bring this up. But the ancient giant robot wakes up. His transponder snail wakes up as well. It starts retransmitting the message. And he tells us a little bit about wills. So I'll read verbatim. That ceaselessly inherited aspect. We can call it a will. And to those who have suffered for this, I could only pray my voice reaches you. So we missed out on a good chunk of his message. We don't know among you there is a blank. The name is blank, and then he comes in now with like the butt end of the will message. And it's like, okay, like when are we going to learn about the rest of this? Will we learn it in the context, or will we learn about his message when we learn more about the will of D, and then we ourselves, the audience, can piece it together? Or is Vegapunk going to come back alive and tell us the message? It's like, oh, like this is what you missed out on. Or will one of the satellites do that? Like, oh, I know Stella. Like, I know what he would say. This is probably what he said right here. Like, it's kind of a strange one. And, you know, just going on with what he's talking about, too. Like, the way he talks about the wills, it almost seems like it's a burden to have. Like, the wills from 900 years ago, like, there's such a burden. Like, it's going to come back into play at some point. Which,
yeah, he's praying for them.
Yeah, he's like, guys, if you have the will of D, brother, you know, let me tell you, I feel bad. You know, like, God damn, you suffered. You know, it kind of ties back to what Sengoku said. Like, these guys have checkered fates. So it makes me wonder, like, how big of a role the will play. But, you know, that's a conversation people have been having for years now. Like, Vegapunk right here in this chapter has not exactly brought on anything new. And it just really makes me wonder, like, when are we going to get the full scope of this message? And if we do, like, will we get it from him? Or will we just simply come to our own conclusion once we learn more? Like where do you fall on that? Do you think the main body's going to come back to life? Do you think we're going to hear about this on Elbaph, or either way? Because I'm in the middle of the road when it comes to this one. I'm like you when it comes to Stussy. Like, whatever happens. You know, like, yeah, I'll take what comes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that, like, these short chapters, these 13-page chapters, are all kind of in that boat where it's kind of like we're in the gray area, and
Yeah.
Oda's not pushing us one way or the other, and he's doing this because it's showing us like Nika, or in this one it's like Emeth, right? Like that's the title of the chapter, all the stuff. Like there's like a main thing that he wants to show, and the rest of it's kind of like gray area. And then I'm not saying that Vega Punk's message is meaningless or like the Stussy thing is meaningless. What I'm saying is like we can't really say what's gonna happen next. And like when we earlier, like in a chapter like 11-17, when the message was ended, and we were like, oh, I think the message is gonna continue, and we're gonna get a spitball or a snippet of the next part in 11-18. We got that, but it was like contextless. We didn't really know. That's like kind of what this is, besides the like the negative connotation towards what it like the D will means and what they're carrying. But it's like confusing because it's like now I feel like we're gonna get a long, like it's gonna continue because the Legendary Iron Giant is whooping ass now. So it's like I think we're gonna get context again. I think we might get like we don't even have to question, like next chapter might drop a huge thing, because like what was the ending of this? It's like I can only pray my voice reaches you, right? That's the last thing we hear from him, right? And then like the next sentence is crazy, because I don't know what the next, like if I were talking to somebody and I'm saying like, oh my god, like the D clan, the people who are scattered out there, your name means I prayed for you and I hope that my voice reaches for you. And then it's like the next sentence, I think in most regards is like it's a crazy, like the next sentence would carry a lot of weight, I feel like unless he already had said it and this is the ending of it. But like I feel like the way it's lining up, because the Legendary Iron Giant is up again, and we have like the Gorosei prioritize Legendary Iron Giant. York said you have to take out the thing inside of it. You wouldn't say that unless it's like, if the message fizzles out now and York says you have to take out the message, then it wouldn't matter if the message just cuts out.
Yeah,
so
it's still going.
Makes it feel right. So it makes it feel like, yeah, we're gonna get like a huge thing, and like I think it lines up. 11-20 might drop like a was it? I hope my voice prays for you. You it might be like the Toki line. It might be like for 800 years, Joy Boy set out a prophecy that you, the D clan, have been carrying, beaten and battered by the world government. They've taken out Roger. Roger's a D clan. He might even say Rocks. He might even bring up Rocks, Roger, Blackbeard, Luffy. He might bring up all the D-Clan people and be like, they've been carrying this thing and you guys don't know who they are because of the world government. Something like that. It could be like that. Like because when you're thinking about the context that Vega Punk says, I only pray my voice reaches you. You guys have suffered. Well, what are they suffering? They're suffering the oppression of the world government. The same kind of thing that the moment Vegapunk reads the Void Century stuff, he is now experiencing what the D-Clan experiences, so to say. And like the reality is that Vegapunk can choose. Vegapunk could have chosen not to read the Void Century, and it's probably more like that what he's going to say is the D-Clan has no choice. They're tied to the Void Century, and they have to live their lives chasing that. And by chasing that, they're pitted against the same opposition that killed me, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at with that message. And so this could be the opportunity where he says like the D-Clan is kind of like they're destined to go against the world government. And are they right? Are they wrong? Well, I can't tell you. All I know is that the world government has been villainizing them for no reason. And he can name drop the D-Clan. He can name drop Roger, Rocks, Blackbeard, all these people, Luffy, right? And the question then becomes like, what's the Gorosei's capability of stunting this message even more, right? And the other part of it is, it's not like the Iron Giant cares about the message. He does. We don't even know if he knows that the message is like meaningful for the world. He's just Emeth. He's just, the time is at hand, right? So like he got pushed in the ocean, and it's like that. Why that didn't matter to him? So he has no tie to it. But now that he's fighting back, why is he fighting back? And like, is he capable of destroying these guys? Like, and if so, then the Gorosei, like, they probably have to pull out something crazy to stop it. And depending on how difficult it is for them, that's how meaningful the message is kind of how I'm seeing it. The harder it is to stop the Legend of Iron Giant, the more information we're probably going to get from the Iron Giant is what I'm expecting.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to this message, he's not done yet. He didn't say, oh, on a final note, like, I'm ending off with this or anything. So it's going to go on. That's going to be why the robot's going to be such a big deal. I mean, like you said, York mentioned, hey, you got to stop the broadcast. You got to kill the robot. You know, you got to kill the snail that's inside of him. So yeah, I feel like what Vega Punk is going to drop next is going to be huge. It doesn't even have to do with the Will of D anymore. He could go back to the Void Century. He could talk about like the name of the ancient kingdom, because we know he knows that, right? The Oharans figured that out based on their books. He read the books. So he could name drop that, finally get the last hoorah in for Clover.
You could say that all of the D clan are the remnants from that ancient kingdom.
Easily.
That
like,
ancient kingdom's name.
Yeah,
boom.
Easily. I mean, I feel like these are like the easiest ways to look at the message and what he could bring in. Like, it's apparent that's going to happen. You know, last 2 chapters, we were talking about the message coming back. Is it coming back? Is it not? We were pretty 50-50 on it. But now that it's finally back, and now that York is bringing this back to the focal point, it's definitely going to be the main points in the next couple of chapters. And that's probably why the Gorosei are going to be squaring up against them. Venus is fighting Zoro. Well, hey, Zoro, I got to postpone this. You know, you can have Kitetsu for now. I'll get it later. I got to deal with the giant. Saturn. Oh, I don't know where the hell Saturn's at, but he could go back here. Jupiter's going to stop sucking and start sucking the robot off instead. And then Mars might, you know, fly a little faster. I feel like that's what's going to happen here. And then, like you said, the harder the robot's going to fight back, the more important the message is going to be. I do, you know, now that this is happening, I am leaning on the side that the Gorosei is going to knock the robot out before it drops something big again. And that'll be like the finale. Because right now the robot in the message is kind of like a zombie. Like, it died, it came back, it's going to die one more time. But as far as the message goes, we do get more reactions. We get Katakuri, Vivi, Wapple, or no, just Vivi and Morgans, actually. We don't see Wapple there. And then we also see Gaimon, who's not really a reaction. As far as Katakuri goes, I feel like that's a pretty cool one. I didn't touch on this too much in my last video, but, you know, Katakuri being here, it shows that, you know, he's not looking for Big Mom. He's not looking for his sister Pudding, which I think is kind of absurd. But then again, he's probably waiting for Big Mom and Smoothie to come back home. It's kind of like we had an example of this before where something big happened, and then the crew, I don't know if it was the Straw Hats or someone else, they said, hey, let's wait for the captain to get back first. We got to wait for our captain. We got to know what's going on before we make a move. So I could see that being a pretty key reason as to why Katakuri is still here and not fighting Blackbeard or, you know, fighting the people of Wano. So I think this makes a lot of sense. As far as Gaimon goes, we go for it.
With Katakuri, like, another point is that, like, Pudding's not worried about Big Mom, and she's, like, isolated in prison in Blackbeard's crew, and she's not worried about Big Mom. Is that pointless? Is it like baseless hope? It didn't feel like it. It felt like she had, like, evidence, right? And, like, if that evidence exists with Pudding, I'm assuming Katakuri probably isn't worried about Big Mom per se. It's like you said, it's just, like, coming home in the state. And in that regard, he would just defer to Smoothie on that, right? Because Smoothie's out there. Smoothie, Montior. And, like, I guess the biggest worry is whether they know Perispero's alive or not. Because, like, he's actually probably, like, according to the story, he's, like, dead. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I can see why people would be like, "Oh, it's weird that Katakuri's like this." But like I said yesterday, I was like, I think Oda's just putting Big Mom pirates in the back pocket for right now. They addressed this stuff in the cover story too, because Katakuri like had to deal with Kuzan coming onto the island, and it's like it's not like the whole Cake Island wasn't in chaos either. They got attacked by Blackbeard pirates. They got attacked by an admiral. Yeah, so it's like, in Germa, and so it's like now they have a whole slew of things to do too, and it might not even be like like you said, like pudding is a separate issue from Big Mom, right? Who do you put on more as importance, the captain or pudding? And it's like, yeah, pudding's important, pudding's a sibling, but like realistically, captain, like in this chapter, captain's orders, captain's presence, all that stuff is crazy. So it's like, and now, yeah, like this egg-brained genius is saying that the world is sinking. That's kind of important too, right?
Yeah.
Like so it's kind of like, hey, like if our kingdom is sinking, which one do I weigh? Do I weigh Big Mom, pudding, or the entire Tot land? Like which one?
And then here's the thing too, like when it comes to pudding or Big Mom, like she could show back home to Whole Cake, you know, she's like, oh yeah, like F kid, F Law, F Luffy, I want to fight them again. And then she learns that pudding is gone. She learns that, you know, Jerma fought them. She learns that Kuzan destroyed her island. It's like, okay, maybe she goes after Blackbeard because she wants the ancient weapons. You know, she needs pudding to read poneglyphs.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like pudding will be important later for Big Mom, but Big Mom just isn't here yet. Like you said, like captain's orders, we gotta wait. That's all it is right now. And as far as Big Mom goes, I mean, I feel like we beat her to death at this point. We talk about her a lot, but where do you think she goes? Like, you know, priority wise, who do you think she goes after? What do you think she does next? Like where would you put Big Mom?
If she's somewhere where she could hear this message, because this message told Sword a very important thing about the One Piece, and that's the main thing that Big Mom and Kaido care about is the One Piece. So like if they're not hearing this message, that's kind of huge. When they hear the message, that would change a lot of what their, I think, worldview is, because they, again, from the Rocks pirate point of view, they were pitted against the world government, and they don't really have the full scope of why they were wiped out the way they were wiped out, why they were targeted. The reality was Rocks was going like investigating the taboos of the world. We don't know what scope that was. I assume it's poneglyph related. I assume that's why Rocks like knew about so many things. And like the question is, it's like in the line with the straw, does Zoro know about like the poneglyph? Does he care about necessarily all the stuff that Robin does? Luffy doesn't even care that much either, right? But what if your captain is Robin and Luffy combined, meaning like as a fight prowess and a care for that stuff? That seemed like what Rocks was at, because like, it's not like Whitebeard cared about all that stuff either. If Whitebeard was a second hand, then it's like Whitebeard literally told Roger, I don't care about that. I just care about the D-Clan thing because that's someone in my family, right? And so when it comes back to like what happens to Big Mom after, I would like for her to hear this message or get the relay, and then her character might change completely, and that might change a lot of like predicting how Oda changes her character given what the world has learned is it's kind of impossible to say, because it's like, does Oda just want Big Mom to come back as a big scary Yonko, or does he want Big Mom to come back as like a factor as far as like flipping the world upside down and the Pirate King race and stuff like that? Because if that's the case, then yeah, all the Yonko right now are looking for the poneglyphs, and like, is Big Mom and Kaido now not a part of that race? Well, no, I think they are. I think they will. So it's like, they made an alliance. So are they just going to be together? Is it just going to be them two? And it's just like,
but also they said they wanted the ancient weapons too. So, you know, that could be another factor. Doesn't even have to be poneglyph related.
Yeah, and it could turn out that like, if like we've talked about Blackbeard going to Wano for Pluton, it could be that he can't get it because Big Mom and Kaido are there.
That would be sick, dude. Imagine Blackbeard comes to Wano, right? And he's like, okay, I beat the Scabbards, I beat Momonosuke, I beat Yamato, I'm breaking down this wall, I'm taking Pluton. But as he breaks the wall, Big Mom and Kaido are down there waiting for him. It's like, oh, and you know, like, what do you do?
And that is a trope where it's like, I've seen it, not in, like, I can't think of the popular ones I've done it, but where like an enemy gets beaten, and kind of like Anel got this treatment too, where Anel got beaten and he ended up unironically in probably the most important place in the universe, like the moon with the ancient city of Burko with like all this lore. And it's like, now what does Anel do? Does Anel learn from this history and come back like with a new understanding and enlightened? Maybe Kaido and Big Mom are in the same boat, where they're literally the same boat, where they're on an ancient weapon. They get the information, and the trope that I'm talking about is an enemy ends up being like like they come back later and they realize what part of what their role is in like the destiny of the world.
It's
where,
like Aizen in Bleach.
Yeah, like where they're fighting, they were a pawn in this grand scheme of things, and in order to successfully play the role they wanted to be, they now flip the script and they help the MC, not directly, but like defending like a major thing. And sometimes the trope is the MC actually asks the enemy like, yo, I know we had differences, but like you're the best person to defend this, and this is what you wanted your entire life. And the enemy's like, damn it, you're right. Like, I did want this thing this entire time. And Kaido's literally like, I've been wanting the ancient weapon. I wanted Wano. I'm the best person. I know Wano like the back of my thumb. I'm the drunk dragon guardian deity of Wano. And that could be his, like, unironic role, is that he is now the guardian deity of Wano, protecting Pluton as, like, Kaido. You know what I mean? The dragon. And, like, that would be crazy. I think that would kind of work. And it would work in a way that doesn't make him like an ally, but like one of those like
yeah,
unintentional allies.
That's how it is. I mean, it's the same with like, you know, people bring up Kaido versus the Gorosei, and it's like, yeah, like if Kaido does come back, I don't think he's going to be like another main villain for Luffy. He's not going to be like, oh, time to fight Straw Hats again. I could see him coming back as like a Kenpachi type character, or like you know, just the classic trope of, oh, it's a villain, he's still bad, but the main character isn't his main thing anymore because he has bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
like that's Kaido, simple. And Big Mom too.
Now you know why the Gorosei is afraid of Kaido, because he's like the stone Hashira who just would just beat down on their ass forever and be drunk doing it too. He would have fun. He'd be laughing like Joy Boy, but just drunk and belligerent. And it's like that. The Gorosei being afraid of Kaido in that regard is like, yeah, I wouldn't want that either. Like, imagine trying to fight Kaido and he just starts like just wailing on you, and you just regenerate, and just he keeps wailing on you, and nothing hurts him, and he just go forever. And he'd be like, "Who's next?" And the next guy would say, "Me." And then they're like, "Bring it all of you guys." Oh my god!
Yeah, and then you add in Big Mom to the equation too, and it's like that's just a perfect duo.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
that's how I see it.
That's an old theory too, like the whole Big Mom and Kaido falling into the lava and finding Pluton by accident.
Yeah,
like that's been around for like ever since the dinosaurs were here. So like I think that's very possible still. Like I think Big Mom and Kaido, they're not done. I mean, I know people are. It's like the Hawkins thing, right? People are like, "Oh, Hawkins is dead." And it's like, he could be, but like I'm leaning on the side that he's not. Just Oda doesn't like killing these big characters because he does want them to come back. Because the reason why is Oda acknowledged that there's fans for every single character in One Piece, and because of that, he doesn't want to get rid of these characters for that main reason. He wants to make it to where they can come back and people can have something to look forward to. So
I also look at it
killing off
like
Kaido and Big Mom, two big characters, not happening.
I also look at it as that the person who matters the most to One Piece is Oda. Oda's One Piece's biggest fan, and he's designed these devil fruits to these characters. So like if he killed off some of these characters, especially the ones with devil fruits, he has to work around the ramification that the devil fruit is recycled, and he can't give these devil fruits to other people because he's designed some of these devil fruits to the character, like specifically for these characters like Kaido and Big Mom. And so it's like there's not a world where he designs another character to wield it. He can't deal with the ramifications that the devil fruit gets recycled, but then also he's the biggest fan for the characters he created, so why would he want to get rid of them? Right?
He literally drew Big Mom and Kaido art, I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
like it's like brand new art for them. And it's like, and another thing too is like he doesn't. There's like a stigma in Japan about like main characters murdering people, especially like in a shonen. So he said that Luffy canonically has never killed a single person. If Luffy killed Kaido, that breaks that record. 27 years of Luffy not killing anybody, well, I mean, Kaido's dead, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And plus, like, no other main villain has actually died in One Piece. I mean, Arlong is still alive, Buggy's still alive, Kuro's still a pirate, Don Krieg is here. Don Krieg showed up 2 chapters ago, he's here.
Yeah, Gaimon was the king of Rare Island. And he's back.
Yeah, I mean, I was mentioning villains. So when you said Gaimon, I was like, wait, was Gaimon a bad guy?
Yeah, at first he shot Luffy and like Nami, and Luffy had to block it, and he had his animals attack
Okay,
him.
he's not really like a bad. It was like a misunderstanding. He's like a stranger showing up in your yard. But like other main villain, like people Luffy has seriously fought, like Hody Jones is still alive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
literally every villain is still here. Kaido would not be the exception. I don't believe that at all. I think that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
And you know, Gaimon, if you want to add Gaimon to the villain list, I mean, yeah, we have the most dastardly guy here. Gaimon shows back up, and he's living life. He doesn't even know the message is going down. He's not listening to it, and he's chilling.
I think we I think we can take the crown for something. Like without fail, like you stuck to your guns about Don Krieg. You knew that Don Krieg was going to come back, and he did. Full, everyone knows, no question. His Pearl came back. That's how much Don Krieg came back through, right? Me, I said Bogart's coming back, and he did. Perfect. A perfect prediction. 3 months later, Oda dropped Bogart, and he's back in action, right? Last week, we said, who would be the coolest person to show up in the next chapter? And we both were like, Gaimon. And it was just like, yo, that'd be crazy to hear his reaction. And then my question was like, wait, would he have a Denden Mushi to even hear this reaction? Kind of weird if he had it. And you're like, yeah, I mean, like, he has animals, so why wouldn't he? And then we were kind of like, I don't know, maybe he doesn't, maybe he does. And then Oda decided to answer the question for us by depicting them in
Denden
the
Mushi.
chapter. And they're just dancing. Even contextually, it doesn't make sense that they'd be listening. Yeah, they're both like laughing.
No, they're just that's how they walk. They're just bobbing around.
No, but you see the dance lines. You see the bouncing. They go like this. They're just having fun.
I hate these guys, man.
What you said last week? That would be the best case scenario. We see.
No. Okay. Hear me out. I think it's great that we see them. I wanted to see them. Doesn't mean I like them though.
You hate Oda's favorite characters?
I like Buggy. Buggy's another one of Oda's favorites. I like Buggy.
Yeah.
I don't like Gaimon.
What about Gaimon don't you like? What about
the green afro? It is disgusting. The green afro. He has a weirdly shaped body. He's stuck in a treasure chest. It's so dumb.
Yeah, but he was.
I don't even like Sarfunkel. Sarfunkel's just a girl in a barrel. It's so. I mean, they're not bad. Don't get me wrong. They're not bad characters. I just personally don't like them. It's just.
What about their adopted child rat?
I think
a snake rabbit.
The rabbit's fine. I think we talked about it last week where like you said every like new One Piece viewer remembers Gaimon and they watched that episode, they love it. Whenever I watch One Piece, I've rewatched it a couple of times at this point, just from episode 1 all the way up to episode hundreds. I always skip the Gaimon episode. I can't handle it.
Well, it's because you remember it so much. Why would you need to rewatch it? It's ingrained in your brain.
Well, I rewatch every other episode. Gaimon's like the one I skip.
Yeah, but because like it's not like like let's be honest, you don't remember every aspect of 1,000.
Oh yeah, of course
episodes.
not.
But Gaimon's story is just one episode, and it's like when you hear that one episode, you remember. You're not that dumb, but it's like, do you remember every aspect?
But I don't like him enough to actually watch it. Is what I'm saying. You're trying to twist it.
No, but it's also like you may not want to admit it, but like you like him enough that you remember everything. Like if I were to say like, Sai, did you forget this? And you're like, no, I'm not.
People have PTSD about things they don't like, right? They always remember that.
Damn you! Or you a lawyer now? Like, god damn!
I'm just saying. Like, people remember the worst things in their life. You want to tell that to that's just how it is. I'm not saying Gaimon is the worst part of One Piece. I'm just saying Gaimon's not. How many people actually like Gaimon? Okay, here's the thing. People will like Gaimon, but how many people would actually think about the entire cast of One Piece before you comment? I like Gaimon, Sai. Think about the entire cast of One Piece. Now imagine your top 10 favorite characters. Be real. Gaimon would not be there. Top 10. Mihawk, Zoro, Luffy, Sanji. Like, I swear, Gaimon is not in your top 10. It's done.
Here's the thing. One Piece's biggest fan knows the cast and said straight up, Gaimon is my favorite. If Oda were in our comments right now, he would prove you wrong.
Yeah, Oda would put Gaimon there, but Oda's different.
Yeah.
He's literally the author. He made Gaimon. Of course he likes him.
Yeah. A Gaimon was this is funny enough, but like Gaimon was one of my favorite characters too. But then I heard
look
Oda
like it.
liked him. Wait, what do you mean? I look like that's my insult to people.
You look like a Gaimon supporter, Par. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you telling me this now? I could have seen that from a mile away.
I just like Gaimon. He's memorable. He left like Luffy Wano crew.
The worst like insult. You look like a Gaimon supporter.
Yeah, you turned my insult on me. That's rude, dude.
I got you, dude. I got you.
Yeah,
I was ready for it.
Damn, you got me good this episode of the podcast. I meant to feed.
Yeah, sorry, man. It had to happen. When Gaimon got brought back up, my blood was boiling. I wasn't happy about this.
I concede. You won. I look like a Gaimon fan, and PTSD is a way of people to memorize terrible things that they're like. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like that Incredibles meme. I thought you were stronger. You should still be debating me. Where are you? The Par I know wouldn't give up like this. The Par I know would say PTSD is based on good memories.
Could you imagine me sitting here being like, no, side PTSD?
Yeah, imagine you fighting against PTSD people. Yeah.
Oh god.
The worst timeline imaginable of Par.
I never, and the other part is like, somehow you put me in a position where I'm defending people. Like I never. That's the hard part.
Yeah,
like, how did you get me to be on that?
It's like what is it? It was like. It's either Bad Timeline Robin or Nami, where in the Bad Timeline they're like, that boy, how much is he? Like they're part of child slavery. It's like that. Like, how do you defend this part? Like this is your bad timeline.
Yeah. No, that's no, actually, because I made a video about the Bad Timeline Nami, and I said, I didn't say me, I said like a bunch of people in the comments are gonna say they still like slobber up on Nami, right? And then a bunch of people in the comments did it. And then a bunch of people responded like, hey, yo, did you see what Nami said though? And I didn't really pay attention to it until then. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, wait, Nami's kind of crazy for this. She goes, I think in her 40-year-old version, she goes like, I'll wait till you're old enough or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, Nami,
She's like a part of Epstein's Island at that point. Yeah, Nami, dude, Bad Timeline Nami that Oda drew is actually insane.
Yeah, she's Ghislaine Maxwell. In the Bad Timeline.
like we're not even like joke. Like if you haven't seen Bad Timeline Nami, just look up One Piece Nami timeline versions. It's in an SBS, and Nami's over here buying little kids apparently. It's actually crazy.
Waiting for them to turn 18.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah.
But yeah. So sorry for that part. Now, past Gaimon though, those losers aren't even reacting to anything. Why are you talking about these guys, these bozos, green-haired freaks? We go down and we see the South Pole agents. They're falling from the sky, and this I would say this is their version of Marineford, right? You see them falling down. Right? Yeah, that's what Dude, this literally looks like Luffy falling from the sky, Marineford, right? You got Luffy, Ivankov, Crocodile, Buggy.
You're right.
That's them, dude. That's them. Yeah, like
dude, that's crazy.
You're right.
One
Piece Marineford entrance. Let me look at that
chapter
panel.
552. 552.
552. Something like that.
Let me see. Let me test it out.
Yeah, I have the image right here. Sorry, I'm not pulling it up here. It's a 3-hour long video. Finding this one timestamp to put an image in would be kind of crazy, but I'm sure you guys remember. I'm sure everybody here remembers like the infamous Marineford panel of Luffy falling. This is literally the South Pole agent's version of that. And it's so funny because instead of falling down and, making this grand entrance, they're all falling down, saying catch them, they're gonna die. The Marines are, running one after another, picking these guys up, saving them. It's kind of nice. You see the camaraderie of the Marines and the world government agents. The Seraphim are still in their bubbles. What chapter is it?
556.
556. Wow, that's so long ago.
At the very end, yeah.
And yeah, the Seraphim is still in their bubbles. It's kind of fascinating. I do wonder if they're going to get released. I don't know how. We don't know how you break these bubbles at all. We saw that Stussy was able to do it on Kaku, but we have no idea how that happened. Did she cut it? Is there a device? Is there like a button? Not too sure, but yeah, the Seraphim are here. Cyberpol agents are here. And I am personally... I've seen people push back against this notion, but I'm of the mindset that these agents will assist the Straw Hats. Not in like a big capacity where they're fighting the Gorosei, fighting the Marines. But I do imagine that these agents will be indebted to Luffy because of the food, because he saved him. And these agents will turn a blind eye to the Straw Hats' departure. Like maybe they're like, hey, Cypherpole, set sail, we gotta go chase him. And then the agents are like, oh, my back, like, I can't operate a sailboat.
Like Kizaru.
Yeah. Pulling a little bit of a Kizaru, like nonchalant. I could totally see that happening with the agents here. As far as the Seraphim goes,
saying it. Like I could see that, like if they land in the Marines are trying to catch them so they don't die, and the Marines are like, we have to fight Luffy, and then like Cypherpole is probably gonna be like, wait, he's here, and then they're like, thank you for feeding, like, you know what I mean, like, because that's what they wanted to thank him.
It could even be like the Dressrosa citizens, where the Dressrosa citizens are like, Luffy, get out of our country, and then they're like smiling and laughing. It could be that. It could literally be that.
Yeah. Or it could be crazier. It could be Alabasta leaving, and they just turn their backs to them and put their arms up and draw an X, and then the Straw Hats are like, NAKAMA.
Yeah, oh my god, they throw up the fist.
Yeah.
Like,
how can we tell them? And then all the Marines are like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What is supposed to happen?
The main reason I have pushback is because they're like, oh, but Sai, these guys are government agents. They hate the Straw Hats. I'm like, well, the Straw Hats are their saviors. Like, they literally say that verbatim. They say verbatim that, like, the Straw Hats really saved them. Like, gave them food for the first time in months. And that's what Luffy's all about. Giving people food.
If S Snake is there, she'll solo them, too.
Yeah, if they try to fight the Straw Hats, S Snake is going to cook them. And then the Kuma Seraphim, right? Like, we don't know who has control of the Pacifista. That's still, or the Seraphim, that's still like a big debate. Like, can Bonney do it? Can the Gorosei, whatever? But at the end of the day, the instincts and the wills will kick in. Boa Hancock Seraphim is always going to look after Luffy. And the Kuma Seraphim, we haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming it's always going to look after Bonney. It's that strong.
And Vega Punk did specifically say, any recreation in the image of Kuma will listen to Bonney no matter what. And
so that one I believe in, yeah. I don't think Bonney can control all the Seraphim, but the Kuma one, yeah, sure, why not?
Like, between S Bear and S Hawk, do the Marines have a chance? Yeah. Absolutely not. Like,
yeah, they don't. They don't. And here's the thing: even if S Hawk and S Shark are bad, because that's the Jinbei and Mihawk one, Boa Hancock and Kuma can just fight them, and then that would be a stalemate. 2 and 2.
Oh my God! Wait! Bonney, because Luffy says the only way to beat them is to send them away. Bonnie could be like, tell the S Bear, like, hey, yo, paw them away.
People, dude, that was the thing all the way back during the 24 hours. They're like, yo, why doesn't S Bear just teleport them? Like, it doesn't have to be this crazy, but since Oda didn't use it back there, I don't know if we're gonna use it here.
True.
But maybe we do that against the Gorosei though. Maybe we get S Bear to do it on them.
Yeah, because now it's a little bit different. Bonnie has the information that she can command them, so her giving the command, it makes sense. Also because, like, Luffy said, the only way to beat them is to send them away. Yeah. Bonnie, she's like, wait, Kuma can do that. Paw fruit, and then she can just use him. And the thing is, we know that, like, she knows that Kuma is effective in that light because she saw God Valley from Kuma's point of view. So she knows, like, how Kuma can tolerate a Gorosei member.
The downside, though, is that so S Bear does this, right? S Bear teleports all the giants and Luffy and the Straw Hats to Elbaf. I like that. I think that is the most common sense idea. I don't know if Oda will do it, but as far as the ships go, we haven't seen the Pawpaw work on ships yet.
Autumnwood, baby.
Autumnwood. I know. Okay, but what if that's a reason why we leave the Thousand Sunny behind or leave the giant ship behind? Or maybe he could do it. Maybe he could do it. But here's the thing, too. like, even going back to the beginning of Egghead Island, S-Bear used the Pawpaw Fruit to bring the Serpal agents and rob Lucci and Kaku onto Egghead, but they left the ship behind. So I'm kind of like wondering if it's even possible to bring ships with us.
I wouldn't put it past it. But also because like when the Kuma sent the Straw Hats away, like the damage was offset because the bubble protected them. Like it bounced, and then Luffy like bounced and was like, oh shit, like that didn't hurt at all. Blah blah. And so like, and Nami survived.
Well,
like,
no, it was more so like not can the ship survive the travel, but can the ships travel in the first place?
Yeah, and that like it's like we've seen Kuma do it to like rubble. Like in Thriller Bark, like there was something on top of Luffy
you're right, the rock.
He just pawpawed the stuff away. So like which going back, I love the sound effect that the pawpaw fruit has, but also the way he used it in that Thriller Bark thing was so cool. And so like I think that like it obviously that like this is a problem with any shonen, but like I told you my version of JJK, like current, because I'm current now, and I'm like like when you have like all these like crazy powers that exist, like you can use them in so many scenarios. And like in One Piece, we've seen time and time again where Oda just like puts one of the powers on the sidelines. Does it make sense to do that here? Well, why did Oda intentionally bring the Seraphim to the Straw Hats, right? That would mean that there's like some kind of value. Did the Gorosei guys spam out just so that they could be like projectiles to them? Well, it's crazy that Seraphims are being sidelined like that. They've been like the pivotal thing, like the focal point for so much. I don't see them being put sidelined at this point, especially now that we know that Bonney should be able to commandeer one, and we know that this S-Hawk, even if she gets commanded, Luffy can like override it to a certain extent. Yeah. So it's like, why would those things be ignored at this point in the story? And I don't see that happening. I could see S-Hawk just like diffusing a lot of the Marines, and S-Bear putting distance because that's his main thing. So it's like between those two, I think I see value there. Nothing too crazy on the Jupiter this front. And the main question now is like, are they fighting Luffy or are they fighting the Giant, right? Because this last page is here, and it's a big question about where the Gorosei stand on that front, right?
Yeah, and then Jupiter, though, he's the one who's shooting all these guys out. And after he's done shooting them out, he starts sucking the ship back.
Oh, true, yeah.
So it's like, okay, so Jupiter's now turning his attention towards the Elbaf ship, sucking it back, sucking the wind in. And Luffy just hits him away, and that's kind of it. Like Jupiter, his role in this is kind of funny. I think he's obviously not done. I really wish if I had like a Christmas wish list, I would really hope that we get to see the hybrid forms of Jupiter, Warkody, and Mars pretty soon. I think that'd be pretty solid. But outside of that, though, like we cut away for a second. We see that Warkody is now on his way to attack the giant ship. Luffy's distracted by Jupiter. Warkody's coming in, and then boom, we have Ancient Robot, and that's where we end the chapter. We have a lot of allies here. The giant robot being the biggest one. And just what are your thoughts on all of this too? Like, do you think the robot? We already talked about it a little bit, but like, do you think the robot will 1v5? Do you think he'll hold his ground? What do you think about him hurting Warkody? Because Luffy, they hyped it up. Dora Brog, you're like, hey, we got to get out of here. Luffy's like, hey, like this guy's really hard. And then boom, giant robot, no diff. No diff, broke the tusk, knocking the white eyes into Warkody. How do you feel about this last part?
Yeah, I mean, like the progression up to here, all fine, good. Yeah. Obviously, if you like want to hear my full thoughts, like on the stream, we talked kind of a lot about this scene, specifically talking about how like this is kind of incredible timing that like Oda is still hiding from us about like whether there's the Gorosei are devil fruits. I mean, like name wise, I'm confident that they're not. Like these are just like the forms, because he broke like 27-year standard of how he introduced devil fruits with the Gorosei. And then in this moment, the moment they could touch the water, rubber or not, like the fact that he was just about to jump in is like, that's telling. And then like he hit it, and like he hit it using the robot, but also the robot, like Oda dropped the name of the robot in this moment. And to me, that's like the main thing that's huge here, is that Oda decided to amongst all this progression, the title of the chapter, the name of the robot. Obviously, the name is very unique. It's a very niche. There's like only one reference point now that I've gotten a chance to look it up. Only one, like in Jewish lore. I think in Narnia there was a reference to it.
Yeah.
I think in all scope it's like a golem like name, like it's given to a golem. I think there's an anime out there that had a similar thing too, where it like the robot or golem had it written on their eye. Someone commented on the stream. And so Oda wanted to give us his name for an important reason, and like the timing of Joy Boy, the time is at hand, question of the time. I'm imagining that's gonna line up with like Vegapunk's message. That's all separate. We already talked about the message continuing. The name, Oda just dropped the name, so we think about it. I guess give us a scope of like what context to look at before we get the message. And then on the other side is, like the Iron Giant just depicted something that we haven't really seen, which is Workery was kind of the most durable Gorosei, in the sense of Luffy punched him twice in the skull, and Luffy got hurt. That's different. Like and we just saw him punch Jupiter and no problem. We just saw him attack Mars, no problem. We saw him fight Saturn and no problem. Workery was the only one that Luffy took like recoil damage multiple times in Gear 5th. And then on top of that, we saw the Giants clash with Workery. Nothing really broken from what I remember. And then the Iron Giant shows up and just one-taps him. And like you said, it's a big deal. We don't know if there's a difference between the skull and the tusk or whatever. But the nuance here is that the Iron Giant's showing up at a way that like Luffy wasn't even able to do it. Now, is this Iron Giant like capable to maintain this? Is it a stamina thing? Is it a sucker punch? We don't really know. But like the Iron Giant clearly has mobility. It jumped from the bottom of the ocean to the top, to the sea level, punched him with enough force to knock him back on the island, apparently. And it's like now with Mars gone, Saturn's on top. Jupiter just got knocked away by Luffy. Workery's back, so now it's like, what's his face? All he has to... Oh, and Nasujiro's up there with Zoro and Jinbei. So now it's just Iron Giant versus Workery and maybe Jupiter. Can Workery hold them back? I think he can. And, like, what does that mean for the message? I think the message continues. I think the message might line up with the Vegapunk's message, too, because now we got the Emeth name, and the Emeth name might lean up to, like, the time. And that time, the time is at hand, is probably going to line up with the part that Vegapunk is talking about with, like, the D-Clan's tragic story is they're all been waiting for the dawn of the new world, blah, blah, blah. And that's what Vegapunk could talk about. And that he could basically say what Toki said, is that like the moon is afraid of the brilliance of the dawn. Vegapunk can say like the world government is preventing the world from going and seeing the truth of like the energy and everything, and that's the new era, that's the dawn. And we can see Joy Boy talking to Emeth and saying like the time is at hand when it's ready for the world to accept it, and the new dawn or something like that. It could be something like that. I could see that easily. And then the reason why that, like, even let's say the Shonen Jump editor had a little bit more going on, like his note is pretty important. They say the romance lives on. The romance what? What's the first arc called? Romance Dawn. Boom. It could be that Joy Boy tells Emeth like the time is at hand, and Emeth is like, what time? He's like, you'll know. The romance dawn is coming. And he's like, romance dawn? What? And Vegapunk could hit us with that same line too. He could say something about romance dawn. And that would be crazy. I think that would be crazy, right? So, because there's the huge theory that the Ancient Kingdom is just like the Romans. And romance literally just means of the Romans. Yeah. That's what that means. So, romance dawn would be the dawn of the Romans.
Yeah.
So,
and then we have another thing to keep in mind too, like, I mean, plus like the naming theme, right? When you think of like ancient civilization, you know, you think of the Romans too. But even just going back to like when we first got to Egghead Island with Shaka, for example, Shaka told Robin, Nami, Usopp, and Franky and Sanji a little bit about the Void Century. We don't see it, but when we cut back, he's like, yeah, that's just my theory though, right? We heard the theory portion of it. We, the audience, didn't see it, but they saw it. What Franky said is that is romantic. So it's like, yeah, like the romance thing is going to come back into play. Like Oda had 3 different first chapters of One Piece, like all the one shots, all the trials, and every single time it was literally just titled Romance Dawn. So like it's gonna come back in. As far as the ancient robot hitting Warkity though, I don't. So I've seen people saying that he just hit the tusk. I don't think he just hit the tusk. I think he actually just hit him in the head and the tusk. Because when you look at the panel, like you can kind of see like the face is kind of caving this way a little bit. So it looks like it was a solid punch all the way through. So it looks like it hit the head and it hit it. Which you could say he hit the tusk and then the air waves are knocking him back. And that's fair. But I think he actually hit him. And that's why the eyes are also white. Which I gotta say, the Giants, when they used Sun Shield against Warkity, yes, it knocked him back, but the thing is that Warkity, his tusks were not broken. His eyes were not white. He was literally just like looking back like this while he was getting hit back. This is very different. So this robot's crazy. No Haki, no nothing. Just pure technology. What is he made out of?
Yeah, and this is the same question you pointed out earlier. Does Franky even need Haki to a certain extent to do it? And maybe that was the illusion. Franky hit a god and was able, like Luffy is like, oh, you're all using Haki, and it's like Franky wasn't, and it's like same thing here. Like Luffy was using Haki, Luffy was using Gear 5, he couldn't damage him, and the robot comes up and Luffy's like robot, and the robot damages it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, wait, what? What is that about?
And then, dude, and you know, I always like bringing this up too because it just puts into scope how small we are still. You know, when I tell people that we need like another power for the Straw Hats, they're like, no, we're top of the verse. It's like, dude, no, we're not yet. Like this robot is just a Joy Boy Nakama. This robot is probably their Franky. Zunisha's probably their Chopper. Like, dude, how the disparity between Chopper and Franky when compared to Luffy is crazy. Like, just imagine how strong Joy Boy is. Like, Luffy's if this is how strong the robot is, doing things that Luffy and Gear 5 can't, dude, Joy Boy is probably gonna be a monster.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that cut and dry. So it's like, yeah, like we need like a training arc. We need Luffy to find, you know, as memey as it sounds, Gear 6. Which I think is possible, like the whole 56 thing. Luffy has 5 now, bring us to 6. I think we do need to learn about what this ancient robot's doing. One key thing that I think is the question on everybody's mind right now is: will Warkity recover? Will he regrow the tusk? Will he, you know, get all his stuff back? Or no? Do you think this damage sticks? Because we don't know how to hurt them. We don't know how to hurt these guys yet. We have no inkling or any information. And right now, with this robot damaging him, yes, Warkity could grow it back, but I feel like if he were to take if the Gorosei were to take permanent damage in this arc, I think it would be best if it came from the robot, coming from something that we know nothing about. Even Vega Punk said, "Yo, I don't know how to operate this. I don't know what he's made out of. I don't know what he's doing." Like, if he is the one who damages the Gorosei, while it would be insightful, it also wouldn't be at the same time, and it would be the perfect mystery still. Like, it wouldn't be like Oda revealing all of his cards. I feel like this is a very Oda thing to do. But the downside is that the Warkity, that tusk is actually one of his blades. So losing that tusk would be kind of bad. I feel like that would nerf him heavily. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
A lot of cool things.
Basically on that is just like, it's weird if it doesn't regenerate, but if it didn't regenerate, it coming from the Iron Giant makes the most sense of anybody in the arc. It would be honestly be weird if Luffy just came out and just casually was just hurting the Gorosei and nobody else could, and like Luffy also just didn't understand.
Yeah, like Luffy would not understand it, right? Like he'd be like, "What the hell? Yeah. Like this hurts?"
Yeah, and then on top of that, like the only way it would make sense, not only way, but like Luffy damaging them would feel better if the Giants came in and were like, because the Giants are clueless. They're like, "I've never heard of this. No race. We know the legend of Nika, but we've never heard about these yokai-looking things, these weird bastardized version of our animals from Elbaf. Like, they came up clueless. I don't know any race that can do this, blah, blah. But then the Iron Giant being the one 900 years ago, an actual denizen of that world, doing it makes so much more sense. And maybe we get an explanation. Maybe, like, and the other part is the question of, like, because, like, well, again, going back to this, is like the Gorosei were like, when they saw the Iron Giant, they're like, oh, that's the one from 200 years ago. Meaning that they don't, if they're from 800 years ago, they have no recollection of robots like this. So that would be cool if this robot could like lil bro them a little bit, but like, oh,
And
these guys also haven't tapped into the power back then.
Oh yeah,
know?
and we talked about it too, but like, you know, like there's a good chance they haven't seen this guy or fought him before, but what if, like, you know, the robot fought their ancestors, right? Like, you know, like when we talk, like, if the robot could talk, imagine the Gorosei show up and it's like, oh, little top man, huh? Like, so you're,
Toppy.
yeah, little toppy. You're the inheritor of the boar devil fruit monster yokai thing. Oh, Saturn? I knew a guy named Jay Garcia in the past.
Yeah,
you know, like that'd be so cool, man. Like I hope this robot could talk. And the reason I say hope is because we haven't seen anything that indicates it yet. Everything's been an inner monologue. And that was the same thing for Zunisha. Zunisha could talk, but only through the voice of all things. Outside of that, Zunisha's just, you know, internal monologuing. So I really hope this robot talks outwards, which I feel like he should. If he talked to Joy Boy, surely all their conversations weren't voice of all things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope.
Also,
I hope.
No, you know
The
what
will
I
of the people.
realized? Like, cause for context, you'd have to watch the stream yesterday to full understand where we were going. Our brains were in a funny place. But like, it could be that like he goes like, because this is the Hokey, right? And so
Yeah, the
he's just
hokey,
like,
hokey.
he's like, oh, like the Hokey, you're back. Surprised to see you here. And then it could be that Workery doesn't know the Hokey. It's not like he said like time to go Hokey. He didn't do that. Kind of like how Luffy doesn't know he's Nika. It might not be that they know like they're the Hyoki, the Byaku, like all these different things. And so the Iron Giant goes, the Hokey, I didn't think I'd see you here. And the Workery's like, who's the Hokey?
Yeah,
Who's the
like
Hokey
Venus shows
Pokey?
up, he's like, ah, Bakotsu, you're here too? Like Saturn shows up, ah, the Yuki, like all these yokai, I fought y'all in the past. Imagine he little bros him so hard, he's like, yo, like you were stronger 900 years ago, what's going on?
Or it could be that
crazy.
he's confused about why they're attacking him.
Oh,
he could be like,
yeah,
he could be like, wait, Hokey,
we
brother, what are you
friends,
doing,
buddy?
I didn't think that you'd hit me from the back. You never dared to do that back 900 years ago.
Oh,
it
yeah,
could be that, and then he finds out. It's like, wait, they were possessed. But what is this? Who are you guys?
Dude, that would be
You know?
so cool. Like, because, you know, people were talking about like how like the Gorosei could have been like Joy Boy NAKAMA since they're all like planetary names, like follow the naming scheme. I love that theory so much. And it's like maybe we get an inkling of that. Or maybe, you know, now we're getting like super headcanony, but like what if the ancient robot's like, oh, like you're just using their powers. Like these are the powers of my NAKAMA. What are you doing? Like, who are you guys?
Yeah,
Who,
exactly.
Who is
that
this?
would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, that would be a good plot twist.
Yeah.
Be
Like
freaky.
I have a version of the NAKAMA thing that it came from the funniest place. This was like when we found out the Calamity names, and I was like, well, like if we're doing that, then like once we found out like Joy Boy and that kind of thing. Oh, it was the moment we got Saturn's thing, and then I made the video saying like, oh well, it's their planet names and it's Luffy and then like all that stuff, and but. Yeah, tying into the scope of how they would be Nakamas of Joy Boy, it might just be the powers were it not them. They're harnessing it. They're bastardizing it. It could be that, and it could be that that's the difference between them awakening, with the white clouds versus the black clouds. The black clouds could be like they like. There's some kind of betrayal that these guys had back 900. Like they're the Ashura Dojis. Right, like the
Ashura
Hokey
Dojis
was told 800 years from now, I'm going to come back. And Ashura Doji ended up becoming like a villain. It's like, whoa, what do you mean? I was traumatized all these years. It could be like that's the Hokey storyline.
You left us alone.
And the Hokey
Only
ended
Imu
up
was
lining
here.
up will-wise with the Gorosei. It could be that.
I like that.
Wait, that huge detour that we took at the beginning of the stream with the Wano stuff, like
It all
I
came
think
back,
this is
man.
legit.
Full circle, baby. That's the Parcast vision.
Yeah, and like Denjiro being possessed by a demon so much so that his face changed. That could be like the Gorosei situation, no?
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, easily.
But
wait a second, we cooking, bro.
Another thing to take into context too, right? So like with the Gorosei, if they are Joy Boy Nakamas because of their planetary names, I think Imu would follow suit. I think Imu.
Yeah.
I mean that's been like a long thing, right? Like Joy Boy and Imu are like Naruto and Sasuke, like they're peas in a pod, but they had like one bad fallout, then now Imu's a bad guy. I could see that totally happening too. You know, people are wondering what planet to equate Emu to, I think Emu would be the moon or the Earth. I'm leaning more towards the moon, but like where there's a sun, there's got to be like the opposite. So I feel like it's in the cards, and I love this. I love that we get the name Emeth. Like you said, it is in Hebrew that means truth. It also exists in Jewish mythology. You write the name Emeth on a golem, it comes to life. It's just super cool all the way around. And as what's funny to think about as well is that he doesn't, like you said earlier, he doesn't know anything about the Denden Mushi. Like he's just kind of existing. Like he doesn't know what's going on. And I really hope, out of all of this that we've talked about, I really hope that he acknowledges Luffy. He acknowledges that, Luffy has Joy Boy's heartbeat, or, this is the sun god over here. Because I think that's what the message that Joy Boy is going to say kind of correlates to. Like, hey, Emeth, what is he? The time is at hand. Like, I'm going to die or something, and then I need you to come back and protect the next generation. Probably something of that sort. So it would be nice if he, like, sees Luffy off. But at the same time, like, do you think this robot will make it off the island with the Straw Hats and go to Elbaf, or no? Do you think he's gonna throw down one last time and just end everything right here against the Gorosei to save Luffy?
I think the Gorosei need to be able to destroy this. I think it'll be impressive. Like a lot of the slander that the Gorosei took this arc, whether from me or the other people, or just even like Oda's side, like he has to know how he portrayed the Gorosei, right? Yeah. And so like I think that by giving the Legendary Iron Giant this W of hitting them and damaging them, I think the W that they should give the Gorosei in change is that Luffy could not put down the Gorosei. The most he could do is put distance between them. If the Gorosei are able to put down something that was able to actually threaten them, right? Because that's the other part of it. Like the Gorosei, it's like Luffy's a problem. Like from a narrative thing, like he's a problem because of the name, the embodiment of it. But Luffy can't hurt them. Like in that scope, it's like if I was an all-powerful god and I was fighting somebody, but they couldn't hurt me, how would I treat them? Would I like be scared? Not really. And it's like I understand like what I'm saying is kind of like cope as far as the story. And guys, if you're actually coming at me for that perspective, go back to every podcast prior to this and look at me memeing on them. But my point is here, it's like if the Legendary Iron Giant shows up to actually hurt them, that would change the landscape entirely. Now they have someone who actually hurts them. That would be them going serious. It's kind of like Kaido. Kaido literally was like Luffy was like hitting him 1,000 times and like this doesn't hurt. It only was when Luffy tapped into Conqueror's Haki, the advanced form, that Kaido was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'm. Yeah. I like that. Like Kaido got stabbed by the Scabbards. He was laughing. He got like Luffy punched him and he was bleeding. It's like, damn, someone hurt me. I gotta think about the people who've hurt me in my past. And it's like, but like all those chapters, he was just like messing around, not even drinking. He wasn't even having so much fun. He couldn't even drink yet. And it wasn't until Luffy started hitting him, he's like, oh, let me take a swig, a few gallons of alcohol. And then he was like, yo, like I'm sad that I lost. And then when Gear 5 came out, he's like, I'm alive. This is it. Right, because now Gear 5 was actually like putting the stops on Kaido. Like that's like the once the Gorosei actually get hurt, if this is it, then yeah, I see them putting down the Iron Giant like fully. And I hope that the Iron Giant gets a moment or two with Luffy as far as like with telepathic, voice of all things, speaking to him, whatever it is. But it's hard to say right now. I would have a better answer next chapter, obviously. But right now, if you were to ask me, I don't see the Iron Giant leaving the island. I feel like it'd be so crazy if it did. It would be too good. Crazy. Too good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like Kuma leaving. Do we need Kuma later? I don't know. But like, do I want Kuma later on? Sure. The same thing, Iron Giant's like, do I want him later? Yeah, hell yeah. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm not gonna say no to this robot, but like, will it be better?
Like, I know we're in the final saga, but like, if this robot comes with us, we're gonna learn a lot. Especially if we can communicate with this guy. Easy. Joy Boy's whole backstory. Boom. Void's, ancient. This guy comes from the ancient kingdom. Ancient kingdom. Done. What's going on with these guys? Done. You're like, we're gonna learn, I think, almost too much at once because of this guy.
Yeah. and then it's also too powerful. Because like even if this is the extent that this is doing, right? Like this is still crazy. Like we talked about, like Yamato is like a demon lord of Wano. Like
Stussy,
like,
Kaku, and Lucci running the gauntlet against like random pirates. It's like, yeah, dude.
This giant would be able to run the gauntlet with them too. Like,
yeah.
But
hey, maybe
Fisherman Island gotta watch out. This thing's just walking at the bottom of the ocean. What the hell? Like,
hey, I mean, we talked about it earlier how like all these new factions are coming together, new and old. What if this is the resurgence of Joy Boy's NAKAMA? Like first Zunisha, now this robot. They come together and then they find like another member. Like imagine this robot and Zunisha come together, and then they're like where should we go now? And then
Nola.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like Zunisha's like, oh, like actually I know where another one of us is. And then they're like, oh, lead the way, brother Zunisha. Like, oh, dude. The resurgence of the Joy Boy pirates.
Yeah, and that like because Kashigami was from the Void Century because it was so big by 400 years ago, so it had to be alive back then. And because we know, and Nola is 400 years old and whatever, so it's like they might sense like it's not the same thing as Brother Kashi, but I sense something similar. What? And then they go and it's Nola, and then they're like, and Nola's like,
yeah,
the kid, you know,
it
like,
could be Nola or another one. What if, you know, Zunisha's been walking around for like 900 years, so I bet he knows where all of his friends are. But imagine Zunisha's like, oh, Emeth, I know where 3 of NAKAMA's are. We must go to the Florian Triangle. Like that's where the shadows, like that, like more of our NAKAMAs are over there.
Yeah, he's been hiding in the fog. Oh, kind of like Ashura Doji, like mysteriously hiding on that mountain. It's like random. He became like a myth, and like they had to like kind of find him, and like Kinemon had to like lay out bait for him. Like he robbed his like thing and left a note. Like
that was right? Yeah, that was Kinemon's plan, and I think Wanda and Carrot are the ones who did it, and they don't even really know much. They're like, oh, like I feel bad about this, and then I think Wanda's like, just Kinemon knows what's best. We'll leave it to him.
Yeah, no, I think we're like the Floridian Triangle being like one of the Joy Boy commanders, and then also the Chirai currents, whatever is making it the current perpetually go.
Oh, are you talking about the Marineford impel down current? Yeah.
Yeah, that
something's at the bottom of that, man.
Justice. That could be one of their NAKAMA too. Just
it could be like what was it like what's that movie? Not Hades, Olympus. It's the one where they're like all the gods get together to fight Kronos or something. It's like how
Charybdis.
Maybe. But it's like how like all the Titans, for example, were imprisoned in their own unique cells. Right, it could be like that. Like Zunisha was cursed to walk forever. Boom, just kind of wandering the ocean. Ancient robots here in Egghead, and then you got one hidden in the fog, one in the Tarai current over there. Maybe one at the bottom of Eni's lobby, even.
One is inside the red line.
Yeah, one's inside the red line. One is buried under Eni's lobby. It's in the giant hole. Like dude, they could be. And then, like you said, Nola, like in the sky. Like, dude,
the Emperor Cloud is probably one of them. Because it's a fossilized cloud. Like that was one of the like I have an entire theory about how like that cloud is something. Like something about that cloud is crazy. And it like caught Shandora. Like it's the most randomest circumstance, but it caught Shandora. They said it's a fossilized cloud. And I'm like, the word fossilized is crazy. And it's like, what if it was just like one of the NAKAMA? That would be crazy.
Ooh,
my god.
Oh my god. And then Joy Boy's been here this entire time because that's the last component. And then they just go and pick up Higuma.
The mountain.
Yeah, okay. I'm kidding about Higuma, but everything else though, great.
No.
Oh my god.
And Higuma is riding Yama, the mountain, the boar. They their souls were this is straight up like the most meme manga, but their souls are split up, and part of Yama was in Higuma, and the other part was in the boar that is depicted as a god. It's called Yama, like it's like Yama something, and it's like mountain god or something, right? That'd be crazy. That'd be
Ooh.
crazy. But realistically, it's the ancient weapons, right? Like the Pluton and all that stuff. Like that's a part. Those are other things. Like even aside from like, there's a part where me and Sai are memeing about collecting the NAKAMA, and then there's a part that we're being for real.
Oh yeah, it's like half and half.
We're for real on the other half where it's like Shirahoshi. They're gonna legit be like, yo. Where's Shirahoshi?
Yeah, dude,
where's Poseidon
Mermaid
at?
Princess. Let's go pick up the Mermaid Princess.
Yeah, and then Poseidon, and then they know where Pluton is, and Zunisha's like, oh, we don't need to worry about Pluton. We gotta find Uranus, brother. And then they're like, yo, where's Uranus at? You know, like they find Uranus, and then maybe they commandeer it. That'd be crazy.
Hey, like I said, this theory's cooking, man. I think this all stemmed. Wait, how did this start again? What was it? Stussy?
It stemmed from the collecting Nakama.
Yeah, collecting Nakama with Stussy.
See, this is what people need to realize. The Gaimon thing prediction from last week came from the same brain rot. Where we thought about One Piece.
We are the dumbest people who talk about One Piece, but we talk about so many dumb theories that a broken. You know how like they say a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Like we say a lot of dumb things here. But every now and then, we will hit you guys with a theory that it doesn't have to be great. You don't have to agree with it, but you gotta admit, we say some things that really make you stop for a second and scratch your chin. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Huh.
Well, like, I think it's because, like, at the beginning of the video, I think that realistically, we know the YouTube analytics, there's gonna be a lot of people like, oh my god, they're just waffling about Wano again. Oh, I'm gonna skip through this, skip later. And so maybe they skip to the end and they hear stuff that we talk about, right? And they're like, wait, that stuff at the beginning was meaningful because what we didn't know it, but we were talking about how like the cover stories.
It's like me skipping the Gaimon episodes.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and watch it now.
But like, the point is, like, all these people collecting their Nakama, that's like the thematic Oda's doing, and then we were like tying it to the Emeth and Zunisha now, and like all this stuff lined up perfectly. Like what we talked about at the very beginning, it almost seems like you and I sat down and pre-planned this call beforehand, but we didn't. We absolutely did not.
We just came in here with all these ideas off rip.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. Huh.
Yeah, some good stuff, man. I mean, Joy Boy Nakama's coming back into play. I mean, of course, everybody except for the main man, Joy Boy himself, but I don't know. Anything's possible.
Wait,
people make theories about that.
The Gorosei, maybe that's the Gorosei aren't looking for the ancient weapons because they're gonna destroy the world. They're looking for their friends. They're just like, yo, our brother's been missing.
Yeah.
God.
There's like at Marie's Raw. There's like little milk cartons and it's pictures of the Gorosei or of the ancient weapons and their boys.
Our little brother Pluton, our little brother Uranus.
Where are they?
Yeah, like Saint Pluton, Saint Uranus. That'd be crazy if they were just like Gorosei's friends.
I feel like I mean, in a way, that makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
Or like if they're not their friends, just like the friends of like their ancestors.
Yeah. And it could be like the flip-flop of like what we talked about here with like the Iron Giant looking at the Haki, being like, wait, the Haki was Nika's friends. Why does Saint Warkari have Nika's Haki friend, and then like Nika has Pluton, which would be the Gorosei's friends? It could be that's the play.
It would be like Freaky Friday for them, huh? They like look around, they're like, man, what the hell is going on? Like 900 years later is looking kind of crazy, dude.
Yeah, like what, like the equivalent is like if Zoro. Oh wait, this is a real thing. If Zoro is on Buggy's crew.
Oh yeah, the concept
originally...
for Zoro, yeah, he was supposed to be on Buggy's crew in the very beginning.
And like imagine a timeline where Zoro now is on Buggy's crew, or like Luffy goes 900 years in the future and he sees Zoro's reincarnation with Buggy, and he's like, wait, what? What am I?
Yeah, why are you guys over here? What are you doing?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Wait a second. I think we hit it. We've predicted it.
You think we hit the nail on the head?
I think so. And if we didn't, I'm confident someone, either Oda himself or his editors, are tapped in, and they're gonna like, yo, they're cooking. They're free labor at this point.
Yeah. Just come over here. sift through like a 3-4 hour conversation and get the one good snippet of something we say. Yeah, that's it.
No, like we realized, like this is the editor's job. Like I'm imagining Oda is like, hey, we need to sit down, guys, and brainstorm about One Piece. And the editor's like, please, Oda.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Hours.
Have you heard of this YouTube channel? Have you heard of the Parcast?
The free labor just farmed them.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Oh God, we're gonna get a letter one day, like a check, from
a royalty check. It's like $2 or something.
Yeah, here's for that. He's gonna write the lines, all the things that we contributed. It's like the Gaimon panel, Bogard. You had the Don Krieg, and it's like an amount like to $3 in royalties.
Yeah, just $3. Hey, you guys go. That's because you read TCB. Yeah, they hear that too. TCB, damn it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Oda is just like, he's the reason TCB exists. We just find out the editors are running it. Like, that'd be wild.
It's a giant psyop.
Yeah, because they're mad at Stephen Paul's translations.
Yeah. Stephen Paul has no connection to Oda whatsoever. He's like in the circle, but he's not.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, like, you got any final thoughts about this chapter? Anything you want to add in here? Parvision?
Nah, just that the romance lives on. Our romance for the One Piece story
it's living, dude.
On to
it's old flame.
Yeah, mother flame, bro.
Well, okay, wait. Here's a good one. I got some pushback on this from you and a lot of people too. But now that you've had a day to sit with this chapter, are you a bigger fan of Jupiter's Gorosei design? Because I am.
No.
Rank them again. Rank them right now. Favorite, least favorite.
The thing is, that I didn't even notice this yesterday when we were joking about it. I completely forgot that Luffy just swatted him like a bug. Just like you bastard. Like, who said the you bastard part? Was it Luffy?
I think it was Luffy.
Yeah, Luffy goes, you bastard, boom, and he's like laughing maniacally, and then Jupiter does like not there, he's done. He spit out the people. I didn't even notice that. The thing is, like, if he spit out the CP0 agents after Luffy punches him in the gut, that would have made more sense to me. If I were to rate them, like, Mars is cool. He's a Firebird. Like, that's sick.
Hopefully he has different colored fire too. Like, hopefully it's like green or something, green or purple. That'd be sick.
Black would be sick too.
Black would be sick.
Like the Amaterasu.
Yeah, I'm kind of saving the black for Sanji though. Black leg Sanji.
Yeah, but I think Sanji's gonna get white flames because
the Nika stuff.
Nika,
and that's like,
I mean, that's also something I said a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's like logically the hotter flame.
Yeah. So, but I think black flame will exist with Sanji. But like, I think his ultimate thing is the white flame. But when it comes to like the Gorosei, Saturn's always gonna be the lowest because Oda just did him dirty. And
okay. Forget design. Or forget what they've done. We're talking about strictly design. Erase your memories of Saturn. He just showed up here and that's it. Design wise, where would you go?
Saturn, Nasujiro, Mars, Jupiter, Workery.
Oh, so without like the Saturn slander, you would actually put him first?
Oh yeah, spiders are always sick. I hate.
Wow, he went from your lowest to highest. Just erase the bad like context behind him, and he's number one.
That's why it's so. It's like when you have your expectations and like the spider form,
it's like imagine your dad coming home and he doesn't, right? Just like, damn, dude, where are you?
No, imagine All Might coming and then he's the weakling. Like he's like everything about him was a lie. And then, like, he gets a dog walked by everybody and their mother. And it's like, everything I knew about him was just a scam. And it's like, no offense to Saturn, but, like, the main, like, one of the nail in the coffins, actually, was when he ran to the Mother Flame. That whole progression of events, he got stopped by Usopp. Robin wasn't even, like, really there for it. Well, she was, but, like, Nami was fighting. Stab Chopper. None of them took any casualties. He bolts to the Mother Flame and gets scared. He scares us out.
And then not to mention when he uses Conqueror's Haki as the smallest panel out of everyone in the series.
And then he's also does like whack-a-mole with it, and we sing Mars like actually doing something like, so that's why it's like he was the coolest. He'll always be forever bottom. Well, right now forever bottom until like either someone supplants him worse, which I can't see Oda doing, and then the other option is Saturn. Like you know me, I want the webbing. Like if he does something sick with the webs. All right, yeah. I'll give it to him. But
okay, it's respectable. I like that you admit that you do like his design, just don't like the character.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like if our theory about the Iron Giant and like the Hoki, like he looks at like Yuki, you used to be the coolest one. What happened? Like that would make so much sense to me if Emeth.
Emeth is like Saturn. What the hell?
Yeah,
but we don't know. It could be like Pokemon. What if Saturn is actually super effective against the Iron Robot?
That'd be crazy. And like what I'm thinking is like if like Law personality on Punk Hazard, and he swapped up like Chopper and Franky and all these things, and it's like that's what Yuki or Emeth is like seeing out of the Gorosei. It's like, wait, why are my strong friends in these weak ass bodies, dude? Like Tashigi and Smoker. Like Luffy was sitting on Smoker and was like, why are you such a loser now? Like that was literally what Luffy said. And then Tashigi in Smoker's body's like, I'm not Smoker, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
You know, that's not bad. I mean, so I feel like Mars is my favorite design so far. Firebird's cool, like you said.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I would actually put Jupiter second. Like, not even joking. I put Jupiter second. It's such a hard design, man. It's tough, sure. Bro. Aura. Third is Saturn, fourth is Bakotsu, and then five I put Warkid. I don't like boars.
Which one would be the most edible?
Boars, for sure. I think Warkid would be the most edible.
Over the chicken, though?
Yeah, I mean, if you put pork and chicken in front of me, I'm gonna go with the pork.
I don't eat pork, so I go chicken.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, second one would be the chicken, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think last place will probably be Bakotsu. I don't know how you eat a skeleton.
True. Yeah. He's last.
Yeah. He's just skeletal.
Yeah, or old man. Like he's half.
Yeah. I mean, Jupiter, you wouldn't want to eat a worm, but they are edible. They're good for you. They're pretty nutritious. So I'd say he's down there just because you don't like worms. But I guess a spider's pretty bad too. But he's a boar spider, and boars are not boar. What is it? Ox spider. Oxes are pretty good.
Yeah, bull's pretty good. I had bull before. Bison. I had bison before.
Yeah, bison meat's good.
Yeah. Very gamey, but I was like, I kind of like it though.
Yeah, put some peppercorn on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but with that being said, though, let us know your favorite Goroseis. Why is Jupiter your number one Gorosei member? Let us know all that down below.
Which one would you eat?
Of course, my camera died, so ignore the black screen. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in to the Parcast. You guys know where to find us. Parvision. You guys roll around the block. We'll catch y'all later.